All right, we're live. Thank you, everyone, for hanging on and staying with me. I apologize. I had some trouble with the sound. And so, anyway, that's what happened. But thank you for staying, for the people who stayed. Kelly, thank you for helping me. Mark Bunker, thank you for all of your help. Because we spent about an hour on this, on the sound. I don't know what happened. But anyway, I think it's good enough. And I want to welcome my guest tonight, which is Amir, who is an ex staff member from Scotland, who has quite a story. He's done many interviews already, but he's a really cool guy. It's kind of amazing for me, Amir, because when I left in 2000. I was in for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I left in 2000. And back then, no one could be on the internet. I mean, no one. And Amir, while he was on staff as an executive, was on the internet reading things and listening to videos, which never, I mean, maybe it happened, but it certainly didn't happen in my world. So, anyway, I welcome you and I congratulate you and I thank you. So, with that, say hi to Amir. And
Hello,
Amir, say
everyone.
hi to everybody.
Tori, thank you for having me on. It's a
Sure.
pleasure.
Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. And
Oh,
I
anytime.
apologize for the lag in it. As we would say in Scientology, the com lag.
Exactly. Calm lag, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I have no idea where to start because you've made so many interviews. What are you interested in talking about?
Oh, wow, that's a very good question. I feel like we could go everywhere, Tori. I mean, we've spoken for hours on the phone, like off stream anyway, so.
Yeah. It's true,
Um,
but these people don't know how you got in. I mean, I think one of the easiest things for me, like I ended up making a 10-part series in 2010. I escaped out in 2000,
yep.
and they chased me across the country, as you know. But for anybody watching, that's what happened. And after 10 years of people asking me the same question over and over and over and over and over, I finally made a 10-part series with just 5 minute, you could type in plus sign escape and it brings up the whole escape series. And then
Mhm.
then you don't have to keep saying it over and over. But for now you're probably happy to say it because it's new. It's kind of, I mean, I told my story for 10 years and then I made my escape series. But anyway, a lot of these people probably haven't heard your story. So why don't you tell us what I know what got you in, but I want you to tell everyone.
I love your enthusiasm. I tell everyone this, right? But when they have enthusiasm about something I'm doing, it gives me more enthusiasm. It totally
Well,
does. It
I
hypes me
agree
up.
with you. I'm with you on it. I,
100%.
yeah.
Um, my story is very, very, very simple. I am a big film person, just a big film buff. Um, and I'd heard of it from Tom Cruise. So I came into it's called Happy.
Harvard Academy of Personal Independence.
Now, say what
So
happy is again, because I still don't get it.
yeah,
Say
yeah. So
what each letter
it's the
is.
Hubbard Academy of Personal Independence, and it was the first ever AO established in '68.
Oh, it
So
was an
it's
ale?
yeah, it's been
It's
around for some time.
it's an advanced organization. Is that what you're saying?
It was. It's
Wait,
now just a qualified.
I lost you. What did you say?
I know. There's like a
That,
little. This is so weird. This is like a little calm, like as you were saying. Like
well, tell me what you were saying. What define happy again?
okay. Yeah, so Happy is the only church Scientology org or organization in there's only one, and that's capital Edinburgh. So it's called Happy. That's how everyone calls it. But it stands for the Hubbard Academy Personal Independence. And it was established in 1968. It was the first ever AO ever, I think. Um, But yeah, it's been around since the 60s, that building. Um, so that was the first ever org that.
Now, time out. Kelly, my moderator, is asking if you can go out and come back in because she thinks that might be the problem.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can definitely do that.
So we'll wait here for you.
Okay.
All right, so Amir is going to go out and come back in. But like I said, his story is so dramatic for me because, I mean, honestly, if you did go on the internet, and I know this is going to sound weird to most people because everyone's on the internet, but back in the 90s when it sort of started to get going in Scientology, they were really big on if you go on the internet, okay, he entered the studio. If you go on the internet, you had to turn yourself into ethics.
Is
Okay,
that
let's see.
better?
Much better. At least so far.
Wow. Technology
Thank you.
these days, right, Tori? Terrible.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so go on with how you got in.
Right, so basically, I'd heard of it from Tom Cruise. And so I thought, okay, it's interesting. So I think I typed up on Google like Scientology near me or some stupid stuff like that. And then I walked in and the building was empty. Wow, some echo. I'm gonna do this instead. So I walked in for the first time in 2023. Wow, this echo is incredible.
What happened?
I'm gonna do this instead. You know what? Let's talk.
Out of the headphones. Let's try that. Okay,
That's better.
I'm going to do this instead.
Both of us are
So yeah,
earphone
so I walked
free.
in. Whoa, what was that?
Pardon me?
Tori, I think we're overlapping.
Tell me what you just said.
Okay. I walked in 2023. Jesus, I feel like I'm in session again. So I walked in 2023 after hearing about it from Tom. The building was empty. It was completely dead at the time because everyone was away in Florida, flag for years. So there was temporary ED, just the boss. There was an auditor, a supervisor, and the OES, the Organization Executive Secretary. Who, yeah, there was no at war. So,
And you're brand new.
Totally brand new. Yeah. Wasn't born
You
into
could
it.
walk in with nobody there?
Yeah, I mean, it was dead. It was completely dead. I mean, there's no staff. It's like walking into, I mean, for example, I went into Sunderland today to visit Alex and a few friends in England. And it's just like the doors closed. It's an old building. There's no care for it. It's completely dead. You'd think it's like abandoned or something.
Right.
So I went in, and then basically it's like these spiral stairs upstairs. But I did a personality test, and then I did a stress test. I didn't buy a book or anything, despite them trying to sell me Dianetics and whatnot. But then I came back, and then I bought the little communications booklet because they're like cheap little £4 booklets or whatever. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll give it a read. So I bought the study tech one and I bought the communications one. And then I was like, do you mind if I just browse around? Just like I was in a bookstore or like I was getting a vinyl or something. I just browsed around looking at the different books and whatnot. And then I just said, like, I'm a big film fan. I love acting. I love movies and whatnot. And then he was like, "Oh, you should do the communications course." And I was like, "What was that?" I was like, "What is that?" So he was like, "Yeah, dude, don't worry about it. I mean, listen, it's like £24. It's like $30 or whatever. But this is going to help you big time." So that was my first ever course. And then
And how much was the course?
In pounds in the UK, it was 24. All of the VM booklets, the volunteer minister booklets, are 24, and
Wow.
life improvement courses are £34. So I don't know,
Interesting.
$40, something like that. $50.
Wow. That's very inexpensive.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're the cheapest ones for sure, for sure. So anyway, I did that. That is an experience in and of itself. I mean, if you are like just a random public and you walk in, or you've had an experience of walking into a Scientology building and doing TRs, training drills and whatnot for the first time, and having to look at someone without flinching for like 2 hours, or just being in a chair as still as you possibly can be with your eyes shut for 2 hours,
Right.
it's
Oh, they
very.
made you do it with your eyes shut
Oh yeah, both like TR0 with your eyes shut and
for
TR0 just
2 hours?
yeah.
Wow, that's their old way of doing it.
Oh yeah, it's still in policy now. It's still in,
Wow.
even staff it's still in policy that you have to do rough and tough TRs with public. And LRH says in the policy, if you don't give the public rough and tough TRs, you're killing 90% of their wins. So
Wow.
yeah, it's rough.
90% of the brainwashing.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So I did that. I did all the bull baiting where you just take a load of crap and flatten your buttons and whatnot. Um,
Now
I had
explain flatten the buttons because they don't know what that means.
absolutely,
Some do,
absolutely
but some don't.
100%. So, okay, so let's say that you're sitting down on a chair and you're doing your communications course. You're a brand new person, or you whatever, staff do it as well, Sea Org do it as well. But you sit down. Now, you'll have stuff that maybe make you laugh, you'll have stuff that maybe piss you off, you'll have stuff that maybe cringe you up. And it's the job of the coach. They would call him the coach, right? Because he says when to start, he says when to stop, he says when you've passed it. So it's his job to try and flatten all of your buttons. So let's say, you know, I mean, it can get bad, Tori. Like it can, you can like really make fun of someone, or like um someone might have like an African background, and you're like, you start making Zulu noises or whatever, and they just piss themselves laughing. That's considered a button. So now that could take you an hour to flatten it so you don't react to it anymore. That could take half an hour, that could take a whole study period, that could take a while, but you just have to go around flattening all these different things that you get reactions to.
Right,
So that lasts a long time.
right.
Um, you know, an experience for sure. But L. Ron Hubbard believed in gradients, so he believed that you have to be able to look at someone for 2 hours, still, and then when you can confront this guy and look at him, then you can move on to the next part. And the structure, and even like when you get to the big stuff as well, which they would call the bridge and whatnot. It's he believed that it was he created the whole thing on a gradient, so you have to be able to obtain certain abilities and do things before you can move up the levels and whatnot. But that was my first ever course, and then after that, I was doing 3 life improvement courses a week, which apparently I set a record there. No one else was doing that, so that obviously put me on the radar for Sea Oregon staff right away. Um,
Did you
but
join staff right away?
oh yeah, I joined staff very quick. I mean, okay. It's a really funny thing, right? Because it's not just as simple as, and this is the dangerous thing about going in. It's not just as simple as you just go, unless you're a celebrity or something. But you go in, you study, you go home, you live your life. But there's two things they want, and it's either your wallet or your life, one of the two. And so when you go in, and let's say you go in and you study for 2.5 hours, okay, you go in the course room and you study, and then you come out, or you're packing up your stuff and you're finished or whatever. There's going to be two guys waiting for you after course,
Right,
and
right.
they're going to say, "Hey, Amir, come with me. Come on, let's have a little chat or something." And they're either going to try and reg being, they're salespeople, and they want you to put in some money for a course, or they want you to pay 3 grand or something for a big step on the bridge, or for your next step, or maybe towards something else.
And let
Or
me just say one thing, time out.
yeah,
One thing about that is that they, during the communication course, that's when they weed out people. and they
Hmm.
figure out, they find your quote unquote button, like you're saying, and it's like,
Yeah.
ooh, Amir's really interested in blah. And so then when you walk out, they're like, you would be perfect in communication. Do you know what I mean? And you're like, really? And they're like, oh, definitely. You are it. So
But
it's sort of they've already found your button, and everyone has them. Just so everybody knows, everyone has buttons. And
mhm,
so it's usually finance, communication, relationships, your job, money, stuff like that, right?
100%,
So
100%,
which
Tori.
one did they get you with?
Oh, that was interesting. Well, I had anxiety problems. I definitely had anxiety problems. Like
What
I
was it?
played all my life, and I played sports, and you know, I was social, but then I got really nervous, and I had stage fright, and I overthink a lot, and I would get butterflies in my stomach, and I wouldn't be able to do stuff. So it was like I was very
Right,
insecure, percent.
right.
Which you know, when you join
That
staff, they try.
changed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't credit them for changing that at
No,
all. But
no.
yeah, so that's the
But, like,
scary thing.
just so you know, like, my mother said to me, because I kept crediting them, and I'd say,
Yeah,
"Well, Dianetics is really helping me," and she said, "Tori, the only thing that's happening to you is you're growing up. That's
yeah,
what's happening." And I got in at 22, and she
right.
said, "You're 2 years older than you were when you joined them, and that's
Hmm.
it. You're a little older, you're a little wiser." So just so you have that knowledge, because I thought that was a really good point, and
Yeah, yeah,
a lot
hundred
of
percent,
people don't mention that.
100%. And that's the thing. Like that's why I even went in, and that's the scary part. Is when you have guys, and there's so many policies on celebrities, and these guys are the. It's written in policy that these are the opinion leaders, and if you want to rapidly disseminate Scientology or just get Scientology out there, change the way of thinking for the opinion leaders, get them on your side. And so that's the scary thing is when you love guys like Tom Cruise or when I say I love Tom Cruise, I mean I love Tom Cruise's films or him as an actor. I'm not talking
The
about his person
actor.
at all.
Yeah.
But when you have these guys that get up and just rave about it, and they go on, speak with Matt Lauer, and they talk about this and they talk about that and whatnot. That makes you think, wow, like he's saying everything he's accomplished is because of these guys and because of this knowledge that these guys have to offer. And so that kind of draws you in, which is the really, really scary thing about it. Um, but I mean, I'm obviously just learning all this as I'm, reading and gaining knowledge as I've left.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously they're very, straight to the point over there. So I was doing these 3 life improvement courses a week, and then it's like TR3. They just repeat, 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 repeat. You should join staff. You should join staff. And I would go out to lunch, go into the cafeteria, and then you should join staff, Amir. Oh, Amir, come and work with us. Oh my God. And there is a lot of psychological stuff in it as well. You've got a lot of beautiful people, like beautiful women, girls that you might have a crush on, come up to you and say stuff like that. And you've got guys that are really, really kind of cool with you at the time, and they'll come up, put their arm around you, give you hugs, do you favors, have chats with you. Here, man, I'll go out and buy you a coffee. Let's have a chat. But it's like when you
It's
leave,
very inclusive as long as
yeah,
you're going with the program. The minute
exactly,
you're not, it's very exclusive, right?
exactly,
Like right
exactly,
now, it's like Amir, oh, he's this, he's that. Don't even bother talking to him. It's like me, and I always say to people, look at me.
yeah,
Do I look evil? Because they're like, she's so evil, don't talk to her. And I'm like, look at me. Get a grip for a minute. Do
yeah,
I look evil?
yeah.
Come on. And it's just like you. Do you look evil? No.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, Tori. And I mean, I've learned that, and you've been amazing as well. And just speaking to you for hours and speaking to everybody else for hours, it's like the most chill community ever. But
Isn't it amazing to get
yeah,
out and find out how cool the community is?
100%,
That I
100.
really want you to mention to because people are listening that are still in, and they're
Yeah,
listening to you. I've said it for 25 years, but you say it now. No,
yeah,
I
totally.
mean it.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
want
for sure.
you have
Uh,
to think just like if you were listening to someone,
yeah,
you know what I mean? When you're
yeah,
you've got that brainwashing. So it's like, no, 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 I can't really, he's not really good, or he's talking to Tori. Ooh,
yeah.
why is Amir talking to Tori? And it's like, oh, wait a minute. So I want you to talk about the community and how cool they are
Yeah,
out here.
yeah, 100. So what I will say is I was very surprised, and I knew you guys would be chill, because I mean, just speaking to Alex, even when I was on staff speaking to Alex, I'd finish post, I'd walk out of the York, and then I'd be on the way home, walking home or something. I'd be like, "Hey, Alex," like post Alex, post every single day. I was in touch with that, and he was amazing. But when I actually left, and there's a lot of love and there's a lot of support, and this is it's again like that. There's a lot of physical stuff, but what I'm able to talk about with you, Tori, and with everyone is the psychological stuff that goes on. And there is that thing of for example, okay, Stranger Things is one of the biggest TV shows in the world that just released its last season not too long ago. Okay, in that final season, I just feel like this is a good analogy, but there's a monster who is portraying to be, um, a kid's dream, a kid's hero with sweets and snacks and a beautiful house, and he says,
Mhm.
"Don't go out, don't leave the house, don't look for these guys. There are monsters out there." So it's
Right.
like the fear of stay with me. It's
Fear.
nice. We
That's right.
fear. It's a fear tactic, and
Yeah.
like you guys, I remember I was speaking to you, Tori, and it's like it's become a tourist attraction just to go to LA and watch close the door. But it's like you if you walk around in that vicinity, um, they just run away, like you're some sort of monster or something. And they're like,
Yeah.
I did an interview with Alex without telling anybody, and I was for 2 weeks pulled out of the courtroom, stuck into rooms, interrogated, seen with multiple people, shown books bigger than my head. Always see, massive, thick volumes. These are enemies. These are the evil 2.5%. And so there's so much psychological stuff that goes into it that's really, really deep. And it is brainwashing at the end of the day.
It is.
But just you have to find a way. And I don't know. I had my, I came to my senses just from Steve Hassan, and just I watched the video where he talks about the bike model, and then I'm naturally like I like talking to people, but then when you look at information control, I was like, no, I'd love to speak to these guys, and then just when you have the balls to do that and you go out and speak to someone, and you just it doesn't have to be about Scientology. It could just be about where your head's at. It could be about your life. It could be about conditions you're living in. But when you actually talk to these guys,
Right.
number one, they're very, very chill. And number two, they're super fucking stable. I
Right.
spoke to Alex for a
Right.
week as an executive on post there, and he didn't give me away at all. I spoke to loads of other people that did this. So these are really, really safe people to go to as well if you just want to talk to someone.
Yeah.
So that's a very good point, Tori. Yeah, the community is phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Thank you. And I really think one of your most powerful things that I heard you say to me and to others is you just said, I'm 20 years old. I can talk to whoever I want.
Yeah.
And that is exactly my viewpoint when I got in Scientology. When
Hmm.
I woke up, Andreas said, and Andreas was in Norway, and
Yeah.
he was the person who created xenu.net, xenu.net,
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay.
tons of stuff. So he was like a computer geek, right? But he was never in Scientology. But he
Yeah.
started researching and he found all this stuff all over the net. And this was in the 90s. So there wasn't a website like his. So he
Mm.
said, you know what? He studied Scientology and he studied all the ex-Scientology stuff. And he said, okay, this stuff has got to be made known. So he put it all together in Xenu.net, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, this is Osa. They call me all the time through this. I'm going to unplug my phone, but remind me at the end. Hi, Osa. Amir is saying hi to you. Oh, God. They're
Oh
so,
my.
before I plugged in that it was them, they called me every 2 minutes. You know, it would just be
Oh
like
my.
ring, 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 ring. And I didn't realize it. And then I went, who else would do this? You know, this is them. You know, so now I just unplugged my phone. I know it's ridiculous. But, you know, I always thank them. It's like, thank you for showing why Amir is speaking out. That's exactly why, because
Right.
you work on cutting communication. They don't work on improving communication. They work on making sure we communicate their way. That's it. And as soon
Yeah.
as we go, no, I don't want to communicate, like Amir said, I'm 20 years old. I don't want to. But Andreas, just to finish my story, said, I
Yeah.
said, Andreas, I was just like crying and crying because I was like waking up. And it was just like, this is going to be awful. And I said, Andreas, I'm going to lose every friend I have, my husband of 26 years. I don't know if my soul can take it. Luckily, I'd already gotten my son out. So
Yeah.
that was a blessing in itself. But
Fantastic.
he said to me, and this was one of my major waking up things. He said, what kind of friends could those be if they're
Mhm.
going to leave you because you change your mind?
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
you go. Think about that to anybody in. What kind of friends are those Scientologists if they're going to leave you because you change your mind?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Come on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So good that you say that.
Yeah. Scientology culture is very fascinating. Okay. So, do you know what's actually funny is when you use Scientology policy to debunk Scientology. That's a very funny thing, right? But in the data series, it talks a lot about just observing things and out points and like just open your eyes and look and see what's
Right.
wrong, okay? Or just personal integrity. Just like what do you see happening? What's your experience? Despite what people tell you and you're wrong and you've committed crimes. Yeah. Okay, fine. But like what do you actually observe going on? Um, Scientology culture is very fascinating. They claim to be the most ethical and the best of mankind and the best of creation, but it's not in their nature or culture or policy to look after the homeless or they walk past homeless people. I had a guy that I will not name, however he is a top FSM field staff member. He's not staff, but he's just a normal guy that gets people in. Okay, so for example, Tom Cruise was technically my FSM. I heard about it from him. I came in
Right.
from it, right? But this is a top guy that gets a lot of people in. So anyway, he came to do a speech once, to do like a lecture, and he said, this is his own words. I honestly like this is how you understand the way of thinking. Okay, when you're involved in it, but he said that we are here as Scientologists to make the able more able.
Right.
And I'm not, it's not going to be like when a guy only has mobility in his left foot or his left leg. And then after 2 years of extensive training, he manages to move it up and down and then ties laces. And then they make a movie on it and it wins an Oscar. We're here to make the able more able. So there you go. That says it in itself. But they don't give money to charity. They always neglect people that, are, like unemployed guys, for example. Like they don't back you financially at all. They'll take your money. But if you go in and say, man, I'm having such a hard time paying my bills, I can't pay for this, they'll be like, okay, well, how can you make it happen? How they're not going to give it to you. They're going to try and get. And I know this because I was a flag trained registrar salesman as soon as I joined staff. So I know all these policies and whatnot. And I was trained on it, which I hated. I hate it. Um, but they're going to say, okay, well, like, how can you make this happen? I know you're going through, and they'll acknowledge you. So it's like they've heard you, but Honest to God, it goes in through one ear and out the other ear. That acknowledgement. Um, but you know, and they're not going to ask and see like, hey man, you're not going to find the executive director, the ED. You're not going to find the ethics officer. You're not going to find these guys just call you and say, "How are you? How's your family? Can I do anything to
Yeah,
help you?
right. Like
Right?
they
Are you
care.
okay? Do you need my help at all? Like I know you're having a rough time." That's not in their culture. They take
No,
and take and they talk about exchange. There is no exchange. They just take your
no,
money. They say sign this contract, or they just try and body control you to do certain things. But they're not like the most loving, caring people. I mean, you could temporarily speaking be love bombed into joining the C organization or to joining staff, but then
right,
when you it's gone and you're treated like crap, and it becomes the military where you have rankings and seniors and discipline and drillings and schedules and ethics and reports, and it becomes like you're involved in the military at that point with it's like you're not dealing with human beings anymore. It's very, very fucking intense. So I think just as a message that I would say, just go with what you see. I mean, I remember the flag rep, the
and
FR.
go with what you see, but look at what you honestly see. See, that's
Yes.
part of it because you have your head in the sand,
Yeah.
believing their hype. So it's like it takes a real, like they're all like, well, we confront, that's what you learn in the communication course.
Yeah.
They can't even talk to me. They can't even say hello to me at
Yeah.
all. They have to turn themselves into ethics because they talk to a suppressive person.
Yeah.
They literally, and just for anybody that doesn't know, they declare you suppressive. They
Hmm.
put it on goldenrod like this. If they don't
Yeah.
have lies about you, they make them up.
Yeah.
And that happened to me 2 weeks after Mark Bunker filmed me going Magoo dancing in Boston. He put it on the internet and boom, they declared me as suppressive. They
Ah,
never talked to me. They've never heard I mean, they've heard my story because I started telling it. Because
yeah.
I was like, all right, you don't want to talk to me? Well, I'm going to tell you my story. And I'm
Hmm.
going to tell everybody else. And that's what happened.
Yeah. Exactly. Amazing story, by the way, Tori. Amazing
Thank
story.
thank
Encourage
you.
everyone to listen to Tori's story if you haven't. But it's I made the joke, and listen. Okay, when I was on staff, I used to take the piss a lot. I used to make everyone laugh, except Osa. They were impossible. Those guys are a different,
They have
cut from
no
a different.
sense of humor.
Those guys are stone cold. I'm telling you, they haven't smiled since they were 7 years old. And also, um, but I mean, I remember that the FR, the flag rep, who is, in her words, the eyes and ears of management in a class 5 organization, where I remember someone said that they sold two seminars, two Dianetic seminars, which is just a course where you audit someone, and it's Dianetics, okay? But, the course room is empty, and then you've got these two people doing it, which is terrible for a Dianetic seminar. Terrible if two people are just doing it. And she was like, "Oh my God, we're clearing the planet. This is amazing." And I was just like, and this was at the end of when I'm starting to notice all this stuff, and I'm talking to Alex at this time. But it's just like, it's a cuckoo land. It's like one flew over the cuckoo's nest. You know,
Right.
how are you clearing the planet? Like,
No,
walk outside and just,
totally.
if you take off your uniform and walk outside and you just observe, or you just body route, okay, just go outside and try to get people in for an hour and just
Right.
see what the majority of people say when they walk past or when you try and speak to them or whatever. It's not positive. But that's part of the control. Is it's like, you know a cup is not a cup. This is
Right.
a lion right here,
Right.
and I know you see
Right.
a cup, but really
That's
it's
the
a
head in the sand. See? Yeah.
complete.
And you're positive that that's correct. And
Exactly.
and and it's like someone might say, Amir, that is not a lion. That's a cub. And
Yeah.
you'd be like, okay, I don't hear you. I don't hear you.
Yeah.
It's just like, right? It's
Yeah.
just like, no, 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 no. I don't hear you.
100%. Yeah. I mean,
One thing that I wanted to tell you, David Miscavige, that Scientology is like a triangle. That's what I always tell people because it helps them understand, how, and they used to get tons of people in the bottom of the triangle, right? When they had missions, which was before you were born. But they used
yeah,
to have missions, and that would get the new people in. And then they would start moving up the bridge. But at the top, my husband was OT8, my ex-husband now, but
yeah,
he's OT8. And Miscavige, they asked me into the executives at Flag, and they said, "Look, Miscavige is really pissed off at your husband and all the OT8s." And I said, "Why?
hmm
We were broke. We'd given them all our money. We were in debt. I said, how can he be mad at us?" And he said, "There's only two things that an OT8 can do. One is start a mission. The other one is join the Sea Org. That's it." That's David Miscavige's view of people that have given all their life savings and everything to get up this stupid bridge that doesn't work. I don't, the cramming officer of OTA left and called me.
yeah,
You know who the cramming officer is, right? The correction officer.
yeah, absolutely. And
So
Qual.
she called and I said, "Why did you leave?" And she said, "Tori, there are so many OTAs who are really, really sick. They're dead or they've taken their own lives." And she said, "I could not support that anymore." So good job on you leaving because that's way at the top. You were like at the very bottom of the triangle, right?
Yeah, I mean, they put me up the training side, but they never, and they never put me on the other side of the bridge, so I never did my purification rundown or anything like that.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Thank
Yeah,
goodness. I mean,
yeah.
you're much better that you haven't. It's not like
Oh,
you're less that you haven't. You're much better that you haven't.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, I mean, I remember Tori, I had to sell that stuff. I hated it so much, and my first ever job when I like, you know, got through my staff statuses, which is like, you learning what to do as a staff member, learning the reports and learning what this is and this is and this is and whatnot. I remember they stuck me as HES. So the HCO, executive secretary, I held 1/3 of my local org. And I've never been a Scientologist before. Uh,
Wow.
and I'm now suddenly responsible for making the income for the organization to survive every single week.
Wow.
Also responsible over ethics and HCO. It was. I remember I got up in my first ever staff meeting and I said, guys, if I become a chain smoker, you know why. Because I was like, Jesus, man, I'm gonna be so fucking. And there's no staff. There's no
Right.
staff. You got to do
Right.
everything yourself. You got to call 300 people a week. Then you got to do 20 interviews. Then you got to, keep up to date with HCO, which is a whole other thing in itself. HCO, which
Right.
is supposed to be the stability and ethics side of the organization, communications. And it's just like, that's the first thing you put me as. And I don't know my job. I'm not hatted. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to be there. I
That's
hate.
amazing. That's amazing that they put you at that high level. But I know from going from the top of California all the way to the bottom, we went
Yeah,
to every single org, and every single org had at the most three people.
yeah, yeah.
It was empty. There was nothing. I was like, what? It was because I was in when there were people everywhere. You know what I mean? And that in itself I refer to as peer pressure,
Yeah,
because they're like friends of
100%.
yours and they're all like, "Amir, you've got to do the next thing," and it's sort of like you're like, "Really?" And you really like them and they're like, "Oh, completely. This is going to change your life." And
Yeah,
you're like, "Okay, I'll do it." Mainly because of the people. It's not so much even, I mean, the regs get you in and get you going, but then it's honestly, I think the people that keep each other in it. And like
mhm.
people like Tom Cruise, where people go, well, it must work. Tom Cruise isn't leaving. John
Yeah,
Travolta isn't leaving. Now, John Travolta is his own man, though. I have to say, I trained him. I helped train him in the beginning. And he's
yeah.
come up to me since I've been out and given me a hug.
Oh wow, wow, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've been told that John's a lovely guy. You know,
Yeah. He's a
he's
really nice guy.
yeah, yeah. I have the Pulp Fiction script signed by John Travolta and Sam Jackson, actually. Um,
Wow.
never had the pleasure of meeting him, but yeah,
Not yet.
yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet, exactly.
Not yet. Because
Yes,
remember,
exactly.
John, I always talk to these guys and say, you can come out and talk to Amir. He will keep it completely confidential. If
Yeah,
if he wanted to talk to you, he could talk to you, right?
yeah, yeah, and you as well. But yeah, yeah, 100%, exactly. Um, it's just you
Now
know
I
what is
I have to tell you something because Moose on the Loose. I have to read a few comments.
go
You're a
for it.
rock star and very important. So happy you're out of the cult now and can be free and happy. That's from Moose on the Loose, which I love that nickname.
Love it, love it. Shout out to him.
And then Erie Forever, or Eric Forever, says, I guess he's a new member. Okay. It must not be the same one I'm thinking of. Okay. And then Silva Larson says, Amir is such a nice guy. He will have a great future, which he would have never had if he didn't get out, which is true. It
Thank
would have
you. Wow.
only gotten worse, Amir. I
Yeah,
mean, if
yeah,
whatever you thought it was
yeah,
bad, it would have gotten way worse.
yeah. 100%. Yeah,
And then 49ers for Life, High 49ers for Life says, Amir's story is incredible. He is such an inspiration. You are. You truly are. I wanted to tell you that too. I just can't thank you enough. I mean, you look fantastic and your story is great. It's really great. So
thank you.
you're making a big difference for people thinking of joining because they're doing Dianetics ads all over the place here in America.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I think they played one at the Super Bowl, right?
pardon me,
Did they have an ad yesterday playing at the Super Bowl?
did they have one?
Yeah, because I think usually every year at the Super Bowl they have like some ads that plays or
I don't know.
runs.
I didn't see it, but they probably did. I watched some of it. But I'm kind of
Mm,
a flake. Believe it or not, my dad's in the Football Hall of Fame,
right,
right? So you'd think I'm a big football player, but I'm not. That was the one
right.
he said, I'm going to teach you every sport but football. That's the only thing he never taught me. So it's not really my thing. But JB808, who does my thumbnails, and he's really a great guy. He lives in
Yeah.
Hawaii. And he said, a comment, question, how great is it to have a number of resources available to reach out to, especially ex-Scientologists? Is there any takeaway from all the different canvases you had?
Yes, 100%. That's a great question, by the way. Um,
It is.
a few things. So when I was in it, that played a fucking massive part. And when I was out, because Tori, I mean, I've spoken to you for hours on the phone, and we've just, spoke about all sorts of stuff. And I've spoken with several other people that I've managed to either I've reached out to them or they've reached out to me, and whatnot. But in terms of takeaways, the confidentiality is phenomenal, and I do
No, wait,
encourage.
wait, the confidentiality meaning what?
For example, the fact that I'm able to reach out to you guys in the community when I'm in or when I'm out, and you guys are just able to I'm able to just speak to you or get stuff off my chest, and that doesn't go anywhere. That just
Right.
stays between.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure you weren't talking about Scientology's
Oh
confidentiality.
no, 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 absolutely not. No, 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 absolutely not. Um, but just being able to talk to you guys when I'm in. I remember also I spoke to Janice when I was arranging to do something with her and Mark. I spoke to her and we archived. I mean, this is like unheard of, but it shows how phenomenal and safe these people are. I did a video with Janice and Mark Fisher while being on staff, while going through this interrogation and being
Right.
given massive fucking ethics program with, putting stuff into clay and word clearing and all of that stuff. And then I did a video with her and they kept it. And I was like, listen, Janice, let's do something because I would love to speak to you just a staff member, and then archive it, stick it on the shelf, and then when I tell you to post it, I'm not going back on post tomorrow. I've left. And they're like, absolutely, 100%, whatever you need, whatever you want. And so the
Right.
support is phenomenal, and the care, and the fact that you can talk to them, on camera, off camera, whatever, and just get stuff off your chest. And there was times where I needed advice, and Alex was guiding me through stuff, and Janice gave me a wonderful bit of advice, and she never told me what to do, but she just said, Amir, if you have trouble with anything, I would just recommend get a bit of pen and paper, just write down pros and cons. And I did it, and I was like, fuck, wow. So the advice is phenomenal. So several takeaways, several
Right.
takeaways.
Right. And the other thing is books. I will say, because I spent 10 years
Yeah,
reading, because in Scientology, it's like, if you could think, I mean, I was raised a Catholic, so I knew what a mortal sin was, which is like a really, you're going to go to hell
yeah,
forever, which
yeah,
I left the Catholic Church at 13, but it's still in my head. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I remember the things. And
right,
reading the original, there were only 3 books out when I was in. And
yeah,
if you read any one of those 3 books, you had to, it was like a mortal sin. You had to turn yourself into ethics. And, there's basically, you've, Amir, you've got two ways to go here. One is go back in Scientology, and the other one is leave. And
yeah,
you have to write out all the bad things, for each one and all the positive things for each one. And of course, you end up, okay, I'll stay most of the time because
yeah,
you can't talk to anybody else. So
yeah.
that's what's so great about the internet now is that system has
Wow.
been fractured. And
Yeah.
you are, I think, the best example of it because you were
Oh,
in and you were still reading the internet.
every day, every single day. And I didn't
Wow.
tell anyone. It never came up in a sec check. It never came up on the meter. As long as I didn't tell anybody, I read A Billion Years, I read Mike's book, I read Blown for Good, Mark's book, I read through Tom Devo's Substack, I read through Tony's Substack, I watched your channel, Tori, I watched Karen, I watched several people. So I mean,
Wow.
even New TV, several people, and I just wanted to understand what the fuck the bigger picture is and why there is this, kind of war going on why these guys refer to you as the evil 2.5% of the world and why they run away whenever they see you and lock and close the doors like you're the Antichrist. I just wanted to know what is going on. And so I wanted to know who worked with Ron, who actually was on the ship with Ron that works with him. Okay, great. I'm going to get all these perspectives and then I'm going to read their books. Janice is a phenomenal, she actually has several, she has a few books,
Right.
phenomenal.
Right.
And I was like, who worked with David Miscavige? I know in Scientology that he is, like hailed more than the current Pope. And there's books on him, and there's a whole YouTube channel of just people praising David Miscavige. And when I attended these events, and there's a 15-minute standing ovation, I mean, your ass gets sore up and down, up and down. Your hands are just clapping for hours and hours and hours. But I was like, who's worked with this guy, And then you get several people's point of view, and then you start putting stuff together.
Right.
Um, and then it's like, okay, but they discourage that completely, and they're like, don't talk to these guys, don't look at this garbage. So again, it's just information control.
Totally. And my thing is this, because interestingly enough, when I first left, I was sort of against everything,
Yeah.
everything that had to do with Scientology. But then someone started posting. I mean, everybody was attacking me at the time because, of course, OSA created this whole program. Because I was kind of one of the few, there was only 4 people that had their names and phone numbers on the
Uh-huh.
internet. I was one of them. thinking there were only 50 people on the internet,
Right.
which they proved that wrong. But I know it's really funny.
Off by a
Now I
little bit.
forgot what I was saying. What was I saying? I'm bad at
You're on,
that.
also you were on the internet, and then you had your details, and you were kind of rejecting everything at one point. Does that ring any bells?
No, I
No,
forget. That's my problem. I get off on a.
I'm the same. You just get completely sidetracked.
I know I get sidetracked, and then I'm like toast. And when I do
Like you can
speeches,
speak about whatever.
I tell people someone has to pay attention to what I'm saying because I'll get off on these side things, and then I can't remember what I'm saying. So anyway, whatever. I'll remember it at some point and
You'll
say,
remember.
Amir, I remember it.
Yeah,
But I don't know.
it's Tori. It's your channel. You do whatever the hell
But
you
you
want.
were saying something that made me think of it. What were you saying?
I mean, it was just it's so funny because this is all in the data series of just collecting all of this factual information and then putting it together to get the bigger picture. But that's why it is so important to seek knowledge. I remember I went to a lecture not too long ago, actually. In fact, last week I went to a lecture because my friend invited me, and I was like, why not? And then I asked the professor at the very end, do you have any advice for me? Just a very, I'm like a sponge. And I'm like, do you have any advice for me? And he was like, seek knowledge. So that's always something I've done, is just seek knowledge. And, ask questions as well. If they don't want you to speak to people like Tori, if they don't, want you to speak to other people that are against their agenda or against their ideology or against what they believe in,
Wait,
why?
I remember what it is. I have to
Go for it.
tell you, I'm
Go.
going to forget it again. I'm
No,
sorry.
go for
You remember what you're saying because I want to hear the end of that. But I just want to finish this. What it was is that I was against everything. Remember on the internet, I was saying
it.
that?
Right.
And
Yeah.
then someone came on and said, Magoo, you are really a religious bigot. And I said, I am not,
Right.
and they just kept pushing it, it was probably OSA, but even if it wasn't, I thought, all right, I'm going to
Yeah.
look up the definition of religious, big or bigot, and really clear all the words. And I did. And I realized kind of, I got what they were saying. And I knew that this was going to be a fight I was going to have to be in forever. And I really thought about it. And I thought, you know what? I don't care if someone wants to believe in Scientology. That's fine with me. The whatever. First of all, it's not a religion. It's a mind control fraudulent business pretending to be a religion. So for anybody thinking it's a religion, it isn't really. And Hubbard was against God and churches and angels and all kinds of stuff like that. But I thought I am, and I can speak about this, and I will speak about it for the rest of my life, are the abuses of the Church of Scientology. Because, see, that, stopping free speech, breaking up families, fraud, fair game, medical abuse, roping in young kids to billion-year contracts,
Yeah.
all of those things we can talk about forever, and they can't. You see what I mean? They won't. They can't.
Yeah.
They can't even if they really faced what's happening with many, many families where they can't talk to their children or the children can't talk to their parents, etc. That alone and stopping free speech, I think people would walk out the door. I really do. But
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
you see what I mean? Those are not. I was out protesting one time in front of the testing center here in Hollywood,
Yeah.
and this family came over, and the lady got really mad at me, and there was another guy that was there who's really big on screaming, and he was at the front door screaming at the staff,
Right.
and she came over and got really mad at me. This was like 10, 15 years ago, and she said
Yeah.
they have a right to their religion, and I said, do you think I'm with him? And she said, and I said, okay, let's get something straight. I am not with him. I agree with you. What he is doing, yelling and being really mean to the staff, is not successful. It's not right. You know, they have a right to believe what they want. I agree with that. But I want you to know they have very specific abuses that your children that you're holding their hands, if they join Scientology and then later decide they don't they don't want to do it anymore and you're in it, they will cut you off from your kids
Yeah.
and you will never hear from them again, ever. If they have grandchildren, I have friends who have kids and grandkids. The grandkids were never in Scientology, but they still have never met them because of the disconnection policy. And I laid out all of the just the abuses, and I said that is why I'm here. So you tell me if you're with him or me, because I'm here to speak about the abuses. She said, I agree. I'm fine. And she said, I'm sorry for saying that to you. I thought you were with him. So anyway,
Yeah, that's really, really hard. Um, I remember, when I was watching videos on, what was on like the old OTA and whatnot. But I'll tell you, if you want to know something satanic and something that the devil would be proud of, it's like separating a mother and her son, and separating a brother and a sister, and a niece and a nephew. Something that it's kind of added like a purpose to just being able to talk with you, Tori, and being able to talk with a lot of different people. And I'll get to this point in just a minute, but the amount of people that have reached out to me, or have reached out to Alex to get to me, or have reached out to people you've put me in touch with, Tori, or whatever. But the people I've managed to speak to and have private, and I'm not going to name any of them at all for private
no,
reasons, of
I hear
course,
you.
but I've had private phone calls with them, and I'll tell you, of everything that could have made me upset or cry. See, when I speak to a guy, and then we name drop someone, and he's like, "That's my mum," or "That's my uncle," and I'm like,
Wow.
"Fuck, bro! I can send you your mother's picture. She just had a birthday in New York, or I can
Right.
send you your nephew. They're all grown up."
I remember hearing you say that you've
Oh
been
my
able
god!
to do that. That is
Oh
so great. That is so, so great, Amir.
yeah, yeah. I mean but that's the benefit of doing this, and this going out on YouTube, and this going out on TikTok, and this going out, and I'm going to
Right.
get. But that's the benefit of it, and that I'll tell you what, that's fucking hard. See, when you show someone a picture of their sister who's got a beautiful
Mhm.
business now, and they've got their nieces and nephews all grown up, or their nieces and nephews are on staff at 13, 14 years old, and then you get to send these pictures to them, and you listen or hear someone react to their nieces and nephews, or their brother who they haven't seen in 20 years. That's
Wow.
rough. But
That is
thank
so great.
but thankfully, that's the benefit of doing stuff like this, is people can reach out, and I can just talk to them confidentially, privately, under the radar, or someone else can, and we can
Right.
update their families,
Right.
and we know how they're doing. That's the benefit of this. Um, the other thing that I was going to say, and Tori, I'm going to start praising the hell out of you now, but you deserve it, okay? I after the IS event, got taken off post and put into Division 6 for strategic reasons.
The IAS, no, wait, the IAS is in Div 6?
No, well, actually, yes, it is. The IS is in Div 6. It's in Division
Ah.
6C, which is the
And
field.
Division 6, for anybody who doesn't know, is where you get in new people.
Yes, yes. So
But I
there,
can see where they'd have IAS because you have to become an IAS member now to do any courses on the bridge.
exactly. So, yeah, yeah. I mean, Division 6 is a whole subject that you could speak about for. That's for sure. And with the new org board, with the new organization board, and how everything is now, um, yeah, Division 6 is definitely something you could talk about. But I was put into Division 6A, okay, which my job title, or my post title, as they would have called it, um, would have been Public Control Secretary. So my job was to create Scientologists. And I hate sales. I can't tell you. I love PR and I love speaking to people. Hate sales.
Right.
Unfortunately, I had statistics there where I could sell. That's why they put me there, because my stats were really good there. And they basically gave me full creative control over the TikTok page, which they've now taken. Scientology Scotland have now taken every video down that I was on. And
Really? They've
yeah, yeah,
already taken them down?
yeah, they've taken them down. And you know what's funny is, I mean, I was plastered all over the org, like, because I had posters and staff recruitment pictures of me. So they've probably taken those down as well. But yeah, 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 for
Thank
sure.
you, Scientology, because that proves to all the Scientologists who might be listening how much you stop free speech.
Yeah,
Because if
exactly.
you were for free speech, you would leave up Amir's videos because you would say that's his viewpoint, that's how he thinks, he left. That's it. But they
Yeah.
can't handle that. It's like Tom Cruise's video. You can't handle the truth, by what is it? Jack
A few
Nicholson.
good men. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I
exactly.
love that show and I love The Firm. I can't
Oh, you
believe
confirm.
Tom
Wow.
Cruise made The Firm and didn't put that together and connect the dots. I mean, that
Yeah,
is exactly. I worked with OSA. That is OSA. That
yeah,
that is exactly how Scientology works on the back end. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Not the front end. You're on the front end. I was on the front end too, but I know both of them. And The Firm, I can't believe Tom Cruise made that video, that one video, and
yeah,
didn't go, wait a minute, this is exactly what I'm in.
yeah.
When you see him run out the door, it's like, wait a minute.
Exactly. I
They
see. I
broke in my house, Amir. They stole my receipts. I mean, I'm speaking from experience. They,
yeah.
and I'm sure, I am positive my husband let them in. Do you
Mhm.
see what I mean? Because he stayed in Scientology. So they'll say, oh, we didn't break in Tori's house. Harold let us in. But my receipts were gone. That's how I got my SP declared. Did you know that?
You told me on the phone. I remember. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Fucking.
So that's how I got it. But they broke in, they took that, they stripped my whole house. My whole house, everything that was in my house was gone.
Fucking insane.
So
Insane.
when I say I can't believe Tom Cruise didn't wake up with The Firm, Tom Cruise, if you ever hear this, I mean it. They do what they did in The Firm. They do.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
don't think they do, but they do.
yeah. Exactly. You ever watch Eyes Wide Shut, Tori? I mean, that
Oh
film is like,
yeah.
yeah. That, I mean, again, the same thing where Tom, dives into the occult and whatnot, and discovers this underground group, and they're it's like, he
Again, it's like
he didn't get it.
I know. I get it because he's next to Miscavige.
Yeah.
It's the whole power trip.
Yeah.
And, he is in power in the movie industry. But the movie industry is like, okay, so what? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Whereas
Mhm.
Miscavige is like, red carpet treatment for Tom Cruise. And he's like, really?
Mhm.
I know that's the hook. They really know how to butter up celebrities so that it's very difficult to leave. And people can say, hey, he's already a top celebrity. Why stay with Scientology?
Mhm.
But it's hard work to stay at the top of the
Mhm.
of the industry. I know a lot of people in the industry, and it's a lot of work. Whereas if you're just in Scientology, you're automatically at the top. Do you see what
Mhm.
I mean? In
Yeah.
their world, which that's why I always refer to it as a Truman Show.
Right. Exactly.
Did you see that movie?
Oh yeah, Jim Carrey, phenomenal,
It's really
phenomenal.
good.
A good reference actually.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Tom's an OT8 now. I remember because I went to St. Hill plenty of times. Never went to Flag. But I mean, I've asked people who bump into him at Flag or whatever, and he walks around with his OT8 bracelet. So and I would see him at the IS event. In fact, I got in trouble by his security just for looking at him. I was
For
I went
looking at it?
yeah. I mean, it was the same thing with David Miscavige. And I told that story on T's channel. But I was at the patrons ball, which is um, really fucking expensive. It's like $1,000 to get a set. But anyway, I managed to sell a ticket at a discounted price, and then that person wasn't going, so I managed to get a ticket basically. And then I went, and at the very end, after David Miscavige has finished with the patron megalorious Maximus Decimus Meridius statuses and all that kind of stuff, it's a ball, it's a dance. So you just go up and start, like a club or whatever. You drink and you go up and start dancing or whatnot. You go on the stage. So I went to the front, and then I bumped into the Cardones, and they were all dancing at the front. And then I couldn't meet Tom because Tom sits in a booth, and you have security at every fucking level of that booth. So I just remember looking at his direction, and I met who he was sitting next to. I met Tom Cummings, and I met Trish Duggan, but Tom was sitting at his table, and then I just remember looking in his direction. I was like, wow, fucking hell! I'm like right next to Tom Cruise. Jesus Christ! And then so the security guard just stepped right in front of me, and he was like, "Can I help you?" And I was like, "No, I'm just looking at Tom." But he was like, "Fuck off." I mean, and people like E.D. London, Craig Milton, who's actually Scottish, had the networking to bring people into that booth so they could meet Tom. And I remember he did it with one guy, and then security, when they clocked that he just brought someone in, they were like, "Get him the fuck out." So they're like really, really harsh. You can't even look in his direction. You can't disturb him. Yeah, they're very, very harsh. And then I remember I was registering for the IS, and I was walking around the manor on my phone, and then Tom flew over me in his black helicopter. So
He's a character. He is.
yeah,
I was at the sandcastle. I think I told you that when he was
right.
eating, and
Yeah.
one of my friends was like working there as in the Sea Org, and
Yeah.
he heard that he didn't like his fork, so he brought him a new fork, and he said, "Is this fork good enough?" And David Miscavige said, "I don't like that guy's tone level. Put him on the RPF." With that, and it was just sort of like all of us were like, we love Tony. And it was just like, how could you do this? It was just so creepy. It's like I wasn't around him much, but the amount I was around him, I really got, he's a prick. He really is as a person. He really is. And I think Tom really admires that. And I mean, I don't know if you saw the video that brought on Anonymous, did you? Where it's like you're either in or out.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that was the one that brought on Anonymous. And they said, not on our watch. You don't own the internet. Because Scientology went after him and said, get that off the internet. And Anonymous said, not on our watch. We own the internet, the people. And we're going to show you that we own the internet. And I know this because they called me that night. And they said, this is Anonymous. And I was like in this room, just like this. And I was like, really? And they put me on Skype, and they had some plans that were not so clever. And I said, these guys you're way out of your league. They're going to put you in prison if you do what you're talking about. And they said, well, what can we do? And I said, let's do a peaceful picket, which was from Jeff Jacobson, who came up with what he called the Gandhi Tech in 2000, which was just peacefully picketing, not yelling, not screaming, just picketing, with picket signs, and let the signs communicate what you want to communicate. And if anybody will talk to you, talk to them.
Right.
But anyway.
Exactly. Tori, the thing that I wanted to really praise your work on and everyone else's work on was, see, when I was working in Division 6, I had the opportunity to just, I had full control and power over the TikTok and the different kinds of social media, and introducing people to Scientology, and I was in the group chats, and I was organizing all of this stuff and how I was going to collaborate with 20 orgs in all these countries, and I was doing this stuff. So I had direct, a direct line with every public, right? And so I seen all the comments, and I would interact with people if I would be outside, if I was doing flyers, if I was trying to get people in. But I will tell you, the work that you're doing, Tori, with your protesting and with your channel, and it's the same with everybody else, is
Yeah.
fucking everything up for them. Fucking everything up. I mean, I will sit down with someone on the meter doing a stress
It's
test,
fucking
and
everything
there's a
up in a
policy
good way.
called the dissemination drill.
But make
Okay,
sure you no wait, you say it's fucking everything up, but you mean
yeah,
in a good way.
in a very good way, in the best
Okay,
way possible.
good.
Sorry, just to clear, in the best way. Great job, Tori. You're doing amazing. You're doing amazing. Okay.
Good.
So
Thank you.
I no, you are 100%. And I'd sit down with someone on the meter and I would say, "You ever heard about Scientology?" And they would say, "Yeah, TikTok," or "Yeah, I seen a protest," or
Right.
"Yeah, YouTube." That's what I was getting on the meter from young guys, from guys in their 20s, guys in their 30s, teenagers, guys in school. But for Streets LA, or for you, or for Alex, or for T, or for all of these guys,
Right.
when you go to their door, when you film peacefully, legally, of course, as you are, okay, but when you go and you film, or you do a protest and you film it, and when you distribute it so widely, and it goes on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and you're reaching more people on more platforms,
That's
people
good.
watching it. They are. And it gets views. I mean, Jenna Miscavige, not too long ago, started up her TikTok page. And then I remember when I was filming videos, or I'd film someone, and then people would be like, "Oh, you should check out Jenna's TikTok," or whatever. So, I mean,
And
and
this is
then
when you were in, right?
this is when I was in. And I also remember I would be on. This is actually really, really funny, right? And I'm sure this happens to the other orgs, but I'd go on TikTok, the orgs TikTok account, Scientology Scotland, and since you're talking about Scientology is a key word. So Tori, your content would pop up on the
Right.
Scientology, TikTok page, or someone else's content would pop up because it's considered the same subject or keyword. So
Right.
best believe the other guys in Kaohsiung, or in the US, or in Minnesota, or in San Francisco, or in London, when they scroll through, they'll see your stuff. It's reaching, and I was an executive, and yeah, I was doing it behind the scenes, and I was talking to people behind the scenes, but it's reaching people. I had a
Because they
guy,
weren't using Scientology?
people that were using it and people that weren't using it, both. It was just reaching so many different, kinds of people. But I
Wow.
mean, I did an interview with Alex when I was in and when I was out, and then I
Wow.
had a guy message me. He said, "Hey Amir, I haven't heard from this guy in months, by the way." He said, "Hey Amir, are you okay?" Sent me a love heart after that, and I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I'm okay. Why? What's up?" He says, "Amir, you randomly popped up on my YouTube, and usually I wouldn't watch those kind of videos, but since it's you and I know you, I watched it, and then I watched the other one, and then I watched the other one after that, and I'm really sorry that happened to you." And I was like, "Oh my God." So these videos are allowing, and this is why I love speaking to you and I love speaking to everybody else, these videos going out on all these platforms, I'm able to help people leave, or warn them, or tell them about the abuses, or tell them about the psychological effects of it,
Wow.
or educate them on the subject, or update them on their families.
Yeah.
And people are watching this stuff.
I
So
know.
that's what they would call a product, right? This is a phenomenal thing about this, and getting this message out there. It's actually why I'm wearing freedom today, right now. Um, just getting the truth out there, basically. But that's why I praise all of you guys who have been doing this,
Yeah.
and establishing your platforms for years, and building your audience, and
Yeah.
reaching out to so many people. But guys, social media is fucking annihilating them, because
It's
people
not
watch TikTok
great.
and they watch the protests. It is killing them.
It
So
is
social
so,
media,
so great because for years it was just me and a few other people that would say our names. And I
yeah,
would beg people, I would say, please just come on and say your name. Because I
yeah,
knew, certain people that were up at Gold and stuff like that. I could tell from their stories they were from Gold, but
Yeah.
they would not say their names until anonymous. That's why I always acknowledge anonymous. And a guy came over and told me, because I made a video, I love anonymous. And he said,
Mhm.
look, I want you to understand who anonymous is. And he came over and showed me. And he said, the people that you're interested in are a section of anonymous
Yeah.
that's taking on the Church of Scientology. It's not
Mhm.
all of anonymous because they're doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And so, but the section, I think they were called Chanology. That's what they gave their name.
Right.
Anyway, they were great. They were really great. They really helped. All of a sudden, everybody, Jenna, Mark Headley, Claire
Right.
Headley, like all these people that were not speaking out came out
Mhm.
because of because it was 500 people here in LA the
Yeah.
day of the protest. There were
Yeah.
9,000 people around the world in every major city. These guys were amazing. And
Mhm.
Mark Bunker and I said, if they leave them alone, because they were like your age or younger,
Yeah.
and we said, if they leave them alone, they'll be gone in a week because they're
Yeah.
young kids. They'll get bored and they'll leave. But if
Yeah.
they do what they usually do, they're going to be here forever. And
Mhm.
they're not so much in America, but they're definitely in Europe. They are. And they
Right.
and they wrote me and said, look, if you ever really need us, let me know, because we'll come.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, phenomenal, phenomenal work. When I was there for 3 years, they had a really rough time getting the youth in. They couldn't get teenagers or young adults. The majority of people that they would get started on a service or a course would be foreigners. It would be guys from
Right,
Spain, India. It would be guys that speak two or more languages. That's who they would normally get. And when
right.
you, what the reason why is because they don't know, and I
No,
know
I know,
that because
I
I
know.
sat with them. You ever heard about Scientology? Like, do you know where you are sitting? Do you know where you are? No, they don't know. They don't
No,
know. This is the phenomenal part of the wide distribution of it in social media and on different kinds of platforms,
right.
because people will just sit down on a bus or in their house scrolling through their phone and it will pop up. So that's the amazing job that you guys are doing, getting this out there on so many different kinds of platforms.
I know that's what got me on TikTok because I
Yeah,
was against TikTok. And my
right.
friend called me and he said, look, type in Jessica Palmadessa. And I said, Andrew, I don't do TikTok. And he said, Tori, I know you. Type this in. You're gonna love it. And Streets LA. And I went
Right,
and saw both of them and I went, oh my God, they were so out of their league. And from Div 6, I mean, Jessica just walked into Div 6 with her camera on,
right.
and the lady starts screaming, going, get out. And she's
Yeah,
like, I have 25, I think, million subscribers at the time, and they're
right,
all watching you, and we're concerned because your security guard is gone. And it
right.
was like, I started talking to the kids saying, look, you've got to make videos that let the kids know Scientology is after them.
Yeah,
And people who speak two languages, because there's a lot of people here in LA that are Latino, Latina, various
yes,
different cultures, and
yes.
nobody would. So finally, someone said to me, "Why don't you just make one video under a minute, and we'll put it up on TikTok?" And that's what happened. They called me the next day and said it went viral. It had a million views the next day, and now it's got something like 14 million. But now I've got the big, you have to agree to that thing, and I'm not okay to agree with that.
Yeah,
So so
yeah.
far so far I'm not, even though I've talked to a few people who said just agree to it. Everybody else has.
Hmm,
So
hmm.
we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Tori, you're doing a fucking hell of a job, and so is everyone else.
And all
And
these people that are online are huge too, because I've
yes,
said that for
uh,
25 years. Every voice counts, every voice.
very
Because you
true.
can think, these guys are really big, but I'm nothing. But no, every voice makes so much of a difference. It really
Yeah,
does.
absolutely. I mean, okay, I could start scrolling through the comments and the live comments right now, and usually when these videos go out, I will look through the comments, and they're lovely and they're overwhelmingly positive and whatnot. And some of the guys I'll know, or some of the guys I'll be introduced to on Facebook, or they'll email me or whatever. But then I'll maybe look at their channel, or maybe they did a video 10 years ago of going into the organization, and
Right.
they maybe questions, or they ask, is this a cult? Like, I heard it was a cult, but I actually don't know about it. And then they'll be like, right, out, out. And they'll just boot them out. And this is all on fucking camera. And so you see
Right.
the treatment and whatnot. Um, but every voice counts, every channel. That's why, I mean, I've been following guys who have like, less than 1,000 subscribers, and I'm like, oh my god, I love your channel, and they're like, no way. I'm like, yes, I've
I
been
heard
following
that. I heard you
years.
say that.
So every voice counts, every channel is fantastic. Whether it's a massive channel with over 200,000 subscribers, or they've just been spreading the truth for 5-6 years. I'm a
Right.
fan. I'm a fan because it's the
I'm
truth.
a fan. I know. Me too.
Exactly, and it's free speech, and it's encouraging free speech. And I tried to pull that card when I was being interrogated, and I was like, I have the right of free speech. I mean,
I
Scientology
know.
have
It's so
they
great when you say that. I love that.
I did. Oh, I got nailed for it. I got nailed. I remember I was sitting with the ED, the executive director, who's the boss. So, I mean, he pulled me aside and I was like, because Scientology, they claim to have all these campaigns about drug-free world, about human rights. So I was like, I've got human rights. I can speak to whoever the fuck I want to speak to. And then they were like, they threw some outrageous examples, like, oh yeah, you do, and I have the freedom of choice and freedom of speech. And this is Malcolm, the executive director at Scotland. It just fucking vulgar as fuck. But I have the freedom of choice and speech to go and sleep with a prostitute, but it's not good for my marriage and it's not good for the organization. So would I do it? No. And then I'm like, but listen, New Slant on Life, Chapter 2, Personal Integrity. Scientology is only true if it's true for you. And then it's like, yeah, well, listen, personal integrity, let's say that muster, a meeting is at 10 o'clock in the morning, and that's not true for me, and I start showing up at 2 p.m. I'm keeping my personal integrity, but I'm going to get kicked out. So essentially, when you decipher this, crude examples, it's basically you don't have to believe L. Ron Hubbard policy in this organization. You have to follow and obey L. Ron Hubbard policy in this organization.
Wow.
That is basically what they're saying. You don't have to agree with anything, but you have to fucking do it. Otherwise, there's
Good
consequences.
point.
So
Really good point, Amir.
that's it. It's obey, 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 like the John
Good,
Carpenter film.
good point. Keep saying that. That's a very good point.
It's true. You
Yeah.
just obey. That's it.
All right. Here's mine. Here's another one of my quotes that I came up with. Because, they have the way out is the way through, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's how they keep you going up the bridge because
Yeah.
you have to get through it to the other side.
Yeah.
So once I got out, I started a thing called the way out is the nearest door. Because it's the truth. You just have to open the door. There's nothing they can do. That's the thing in my head. I always thought they would come and there'd be, like a bunch of staff would. Well, they did. They chased me. They did come out to LAX, and the vice president of OSA was at LAX, and they did kind of chase me across the country. But it wasn't like they stopped me physically. Do you see what I mean? If I hadn't persisted and my friends hadn't helped me, I don't know what would happen. But thankfully they did help me. It's so helpful to have support at that point. There really is. And so all of you guys that are here, thank you for coming on. From both Amir and I know we both feel it. Style Audit, do you know who she is?
Unfortunately, I don't know. What did she say?
It's okay. She's an activist in many areas, but she took
Awesome.
on Scientology a couple of years ago. And she
Wow.
has started going down and talking to our city council. And she brought up
Wow.
she brought up many things, but one of the points that for me has been dramatic in the change. Okay, Tori means Audit LA. Oh yeah, Audit LA. That's right, because Style Audit is in Chicago.
Right.
But
Right.
Audit LA, sorry, thank you for the correction. Audit LA goes to the city council meetings, and she
Right.
brought up, she goes, "Do you know how much these people get paid, the security guards? Thir I think it's 35 or maybe it's up to $50 a week." So now Scientology, what's their solution? They have them hide inside the orgs rather
Ah,
than come out when we're there. Drew and I, who are, you know, Drew was never in, but he's been a protester for years since
yeah.
Anonymous, and I am OT7, right? And
Yeah.
I'm like the Black Widow for them. I can walk down Hollywood Boulevard and they're like, "We've got Tori Christman here," and I'm like, I don't even know you. I've never even met you. How can you
Uh,
say that? And then I lean into the phone and I go, Gavino, go F yourself. You don't have anybody out here. I'm on a public sidewalk, right? But, I've had so much stuff like that. It's just so incredible.
yeah, I know it's completely bananas. But this is the beauty of it. This is, you champion free speech, and I champion free speech, and everyone has a voice, and everyone has a right to jump on. If you're staff, if you're Sea Org, if you're just, whoever you are, everyone has a right to jump on and speak their truth and speak their experience. And
And
it's
you
quite.
are a great example of that.
Well, thank you, thank you. I'm happy to be able to help people
Yeah.
using this. I think that's the most important thing, is how can you help people?
Yeah.
Which, um, but the truth needs to be told. And the thing is, right, I was a flag trained registrar, and I've read a lot of the policy on it, and I was also in public divisions. There is a lot of mystery in Scientology, and it's very deliberate. And I know that. I mean, not too long ago, I had all these fucking webinars that they make you join and whatnot on this, how to disseminate and how to widespread it, and all these policies and whatnot. Okay, there's a policy that L. Ron Hubbard has written called the mystery sandwich. There's
Right.
another policy that L. Ron Hubbard's written called come on dissemination. When you look at the TikTok pages, whether it be Minnesota or San Francisco, they use those policies and references to create mystery. So if you've ever attended a lecture, if you've ever sat down, unfortunately, if you've ever watched these videos, they are deliberately trying to create mystery. Why?
Good point.
Well, it's in the policy. They're not supposed to answer your question.
No.
In my org, you used to get fucking drilled to the max. Like, your stats are low, and you're not supposed to answer the public's questions. Create mystery. And then they would throw out a guy who's supposed to be the top bookseller in the world, Emmanuel. Emanuele, or I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it. I think he's Italian, from Milano, but anyway, he sells a bunch of Dianetics books and travels around and whatnot. But they would say his successful action, the thing that he does that works, because when they do something and it works, that becomes the successful action you need to imitate. Is you never fucking answer the guy's question. If he
Right.
asks you a question, create mystery, or do something, but you have to create this mystery. And so what I love doing is being able to speak to Tori and being able to speak to all you guys and clear all the smoke away and just be straight and simple. And this is how it is. No fucking smoke and mirrors and magic tricks and mystery.
Sure.
This is what they're trying to do. As soon as you walk into the building, your name goes on a welcome form, your address, your date of birth, your postcode, your name, your full name, where you stay, your phone number, which they will use, that will go into Division 2. They will use that to
Forever.
forever. Even if those guys pass away and a new batch come along,
Yeah.
they'll pull your file. They'll make a file on you if you buy something. They'll call you up. They'll ask you to come in, but you become a statistic. When you
Right.
come in, right, your name goes in the logbook, your name goes in the spreadsheet. You are what's called a biz, which is actually a new statistic. It stands for bodies in the shop. And there's also new biz, new public in, right, new bodies in the shop. They record all this stuff. So
Oh, yeah.
when you see these guys outside and they're like, come with me, they're recording your ass and they're
Oh,
putting
yeah.
you statistic for them. They're fucking mad about statistics. And I always used to take the piss and joke around and say, not even a football analyst loves statistics as much as Scientology does.
No.
But you're going on graphs and bits of paper. As soon as you buy something, you're a statistic. You are, that's a new book sold. As soon as you start a course and go into the course and study, you are a statistic. That is a first service start. A person started the first ever course. As soon as you pay in $2,000 because you want to do a course, you are a statistic. They take that money. Not that I can talk about all of that stuff right now, but their money, I tell you what, does not go to the staff at all. So they are obsessed, and that's all I want to do is I want to clear all the smoke and just say what happens in that building, which a lot of people don't know, unfortunately. But it's
No,
fucking bananas.
that's a good point, Amir, and that was I originally started my YouTube site in 2008 because Anonymous showed up. They gave me the webcam. I said, "What am I going to do with this?" Mark Bunker said, "We're going to start a YouTube site."
Yeah.
And I said, "What doing what?" He said, we're going to announce Tori Magoo has a YouTube site." And Anonymous brought it from 0 to 10,000 in 24 hours.
Wow.
Subscribers. It was just like
Right.
boom. It went everywhere. But what you were just saying, and see, I get off onto that, and then I think, all right, what were you just saying? Shut up. What were you just saying?
I love you, Tori. I love you. Don't worry about it.
But what were you just saying? Because it was really key.
Honestly, I just wanted to clear all the smoke and mirrors and all the
Okay,
bullshit.
that's what I was going to say. Is you could start like that. I started my own YouTube site, and I've made 1,000 videos because I just started thinking, what don't people know, right?
Mhm.
What don't they know? What do they need to know? And you don't have to wait to be interviewed by someone, if you want. If you don't want, you don't have to.
Yep.
But I just started making my own videos, and they're not that great. I mean, I don't know how to do all the fancy, stuff. I just don't. But I knew how to tell what's going on. And I'd make a topic, way to happiness, what's really happening, Narcanon, what's really happening, just different things that I knew, like a lot of stuff now. You could put 2026 Amir, what's happening now. Do you know what I mean? It would be a great, Scientology, what's happening now from Amir, or think of a name that you want, but it would be very popular, and it would help a lot of people. And then that way you can do interviews. I still kept doing interviews all the time, but I also kept making my own videos as I think, wait a minute, nobody knows this. You see what I mean? Like, certain things that are new to 2026 that, we'll go like, really? They're still doing that or whatever, even if it's stuff that we've always done, like the statistics that they've always done that. But to hear it being just as crazy now, it's amazing.
Oh my God. It's just, it's not, back to what I was saying before, the culture there, they're not God-fearing, lovely, kind, humble people.
Sorry.
They're really arrogant. Like honestly, you should see the guys. They've went away for 3 years to Clearwater, Florida, to be fully hatted, fully trained, to do this OEC, FEBC, Flag Executive Briefing Course, Organization Executive Course, where they study every policy to know how to run an organization that L. Ron Hubbard has ever written. They've disappeared for 3 years, and they come back, and still the stats are horrendous, and still the course room is empty, and still you have your highest producing guy, in Division 6, and then you're willing to take him off post, allow Division 6 to collapse and cave in, because you somehow came to the conclusion that the reason he spoke to Alex was because, well, he's read the policy, but, I said I didn't agree with it. But they said he's read the policy, but he didn't apply the policy. He didn't use it. So he's clearly got misunderstood words and MUs. So the problem must be in his study. So we're going to dedicate the whole ethics program to study. That's what we're going to do it on. It's just, how the fuck do you come to that conclusion?
Yeah.
Like, I was promoting them and I was like, I really believed in administrative technology. I wasn't so much into you as an immortal spiritual being. It was more of the administrative technology and knowing your job, knowing other people's jobs. And I was like, I could use that in film. Okay, fine. But then, like, when you learn about this shit, it's like it just contradicts each other so much, and they don't apply it, and they don't know how to use it. And quite frankly, yeah, on paper they've got gold certificates from Flag, and they're supposed to be super standards. But when you sit back and just watch the whole thing unfold, they don't have a fucking clue what they're doing at all. They really they don't have a fucking clue what they're
And the
not.
other thing is they don't have any common sense.
Yeah,
Right? Just like you and I together would go, the girl that closes the doors every time we drive up. It's
yeah,
like, just stop doing that. It's so stupid. It's
yeah.
made it into it's a TikTok tourist attraction. We drove up Friday night and I said, "Are you guys TikTok?" Because they were young kids and they said, "Yeah." And I said to Drew, "Pull up in front of the door." And we pulled up in front of the door. Bam, they shut the doors. And I
Mm-hmm,
said, everyone's welcome. You know, no,
mm-hmm.
not really. But the other thing I tell people, because people all the time, and you'll see it no matter where you are,
Yeah,
people go, Scientology, I don't really know what that is. And
yeah.
this is my answer. That's by design.
Mm-hmm,
They don't
mm-hmm.
want you to know. And they go,
Yeah.
really? And I go, yeah, because then you have to go in. And once you're in, they can do whatever they need to do.
Oh, it's all
Isn't that
written.
the truth?
It is true, and it's painful because all written in policy about the fucking mystery and creating
Right.
this mysterious thing which lures, which was me, unfortunately. But that's what gets people in and trapped, and it's
Yeah.
all deliberate. Yeah, you said it beautifully, Tori. It's all deliberate, all of it.
Well, let me read a couple of things to you. Style Audit LA or
Yeah,
Style Audit 1A, which is the lady in Chicago, I believe.
awesome. Okay.
Joining in late, but does Amir know he already has his own song?
Yes, I do. I do. I've
Oh,
listened to
good.
that was done
Good.
the amazing JoJo, who I've met, and that's a whole story in itself, which I covered on T's channel. But yeah, she made a song about me, and it's fantastic. Yeah, I love it.
Oh yeah. So Kelly wants to know if you already have a hate site. Have you typed in
um,
your name?
uh, I haven't done it yet, but if someone can check and let me know, I would very much appreciate that. I asked someone not too long ago that went into to my org if I'd been declared, and apparently they're very panicky over there. So I don't know if they're under any condition, but
Keep
so
being panicky, Osa. Good
yeah,
job.
yeah. Apparently it's quite tense over there, but I have no idea, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. It's just a matter of they're trying to I know what it is. They're trying to like iron it out and I'm like, "Oh, we're going to get Amir back. You're not going to get him back, Scientology. No. And it's not cuz we own him. It's because he's on his own and he knows
Yeah,
what he's doing.
I'm not going back into that building ever again.
I know it's so weird once you see the dark side. I had a guy named Robert Van Young who was writing for Freedom magazine. He's a
Yeah,
really good writer.
yeah.
And he unfortunately passed away. But when I left, he called me every night.
Mm.
And I finally said, Von, you know, are you worried about me? And he said, I really am. This was in 2000. And he said, I'm really worried that you're going to go back in. And I said, okay, I want you to listen to me carefully. I have epilepsy. So for 30 years, I was treated like a degraded being, like there was something wrong with me because I had this illness, right? And tons of people treated me that way. And I said, so for you to be worried
Uh,
about me going back in there is like saying to a Jewish person, we're worried you're going to go back in those concentration camps. I mean, it's not going to happen. Not now, not ever. No. It was like I left in 97
yeah,
spiritually. I said, I'm out, I'm done, that's it. And it
yeah.
took me 3 more years to fully wake up and leave, but I did it.
Well done. Well done to you.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
All right, so that's Kelly. So we'll check and see if you have a hate site. Here's Aloha JB808 who makes my thumbnails,
Awesome.
right? I might have missed it, but does anyone know how long Amir was in Scientology for? He was in for 40 years, but he lies and says it was only 2. No.
Oh my God. You and Mitch Brisker both have the funniest sense of humor ever.
Who's the
Honestly.
other one?
Mitch Brisker.
Oh.
Mitch has got some sense of humor.
Truly. Okay, so 2 years, right?
2023, January, so 3 years.
Oh, 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got to get you some kind of a necklace or something.
Fuck it. Jesus
I'm
Christ.
so proud of you that you got in and out in 3 years. It's so fabulous. I mean, it's very rare. It really is. It's really great.
They shot themselves in the foot with that one.
I know. I told him that when I was in. I said, you're creating your own enemies by doing this kind of thing.
Literally.
And if you watch Magoo Dancing in Boston, I say to Mike Rinder, who was still in back then, Mike, I warned you, you're creating your own enemies, and you need to come out and talk to these people and learn what they have to say. Because I think if they did talk to the critics and ex-Scientologists, I mean, something would change. Maybe not. We've said so much in 20 years and nothing's changed. So I don't know. Can you read that? I love how everyone in the ex-Scientology community has surrounded Amir with support. I know.
Yeah.
It's totally different than Scientology, isn't it?
100%.
It's so freaky, and it's so opposite of what they promote. That was for me. It was literally stunning to me that, like, Tony Ortega. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Tony wrote an article. He was the first person who interviewed me, and it's called "Sympathy for the Devil." It's still on the internet. You can type it in, but it was about Andreas in Norway helping me wake up, and both of our views and how it happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was so supportive. Here's a guy who was never even in and helped me wake up and leave. That's amazing.
Fantastic. I love this. I love to hear what's everyone saying in the chat. Like, what are the people saying? This is fantastic.
Okay, so Amir is awesome. I'm proud of him having the courage to leave on his own merits. That's from JoJo, the enforcer. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then Kelly says you can sub to Amir here, and she put up a link to where you can subscribe to Amir. Okay, that's good. Thank you, Kelly. Can you send me that link? Because I won't see it afterwards. Okay, JoJo, the enforcer, says, if you didn't know Tori, T and I think, had the stress test by Amir. You did in Edinburgh? No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Edinburgh. And he was so caring. I felt so bad that day, protesting straight after. Glad he understood.
Yeah, Tori, I was going out for lunch, and the ED said, oh, there's just 2 ladies here who would like a stress test. And I was like, I kind of want to go get lunch, but okay. So then I took T and JoJo, sat down with them both, had great conversations,
Wow.
told JoJo a book, and I was like, fantastic. Now I can go eat lunch. And then I was doing call-in where I was just calling folders and files of people to come in, and then someone came up to me and said, "Amir, congratulations, it's your first protest." And I went, "What do you mean?" And he said, there's people protesting outside." And I was like,
Right.
"Oh, I'm gonna go down and say hello." And they were like, "No, no, 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 don't worry. ET's gonna go down and handle it." And I was like, "Oh, fine." Because I like talking to these people. So I was like, I would go down and say hello. So then I looked from the window, and then it was Jojo and T. And that was my introduction to them, basically. So, yeah.
Wow. Your first protest. I love that. Really, congratulations. All right, now, okay, so I think that that was that. So that's cool. That's really cool. I had a stress test just to add to that where
Yeah.
they were out in front of the AMC, like a movie theater, doing
Right.
stress tests. And I knew that they were only roping in these people that don't speak English. So I sat
Mhm.
down and picked up the cans, and this lady from Germany said, "What is stressing you out?" And I said, I looked her right in the face and I said, "David Miscavige." And I know the meter just, totally red because her eyeballs practically
Oh,
jumped out. And I said, "No, I was in Scientology for 30 years. Don't worry about it. I'm a declared suppressive. And they're going to be coming up here in a minute running to tell you not to talk to me." And that's exactly what they did. The guy came running down, "Don't talk to her. Don't talk to her. Don't talk to her." And I said, "See, go look on the internet." You have to warn people so they know that they're going to do. I don't know if they've started that with you or not, but they will, where they start, basically third partying you.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, they've all blocked me on social media, but
Yeah.
I've never, I don't know. I could try that. I could go on a Saturday at 2 p.m. and just walk down that street and see what happens, but I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, you got to make a video about that. All right. So we got your rock star. We already read that. Question. Wait, where did that go? Okay. Does Amir plan on making videos on his YouTube?
Um, so I've actually been asked this before. I thought about it, and it has been heavily recommended that I should start um, making videos and whatnot. I am putting it off right now. So it's also like why would I want to do it? Like what would be the purpose of it? Like right now I have a purpose of you guys have all become like my friends now, and I'm in constant communication with you. And like I've met up with Alex today, I've met up with a few people today. um, but the fact that I can come on here and just speak the truth and help people, help families, help people leave, send them the videos, or have people, I pop up on their YouTube or whatever, and your channel pops up on their YouTube and they leave. That's become like a goal, like a purpose. Like, great, I can help people with this stuff.
Right.
But like with my own channel, maybe I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't rule it out at all. Like I might start posting on TikTok or something like that. That would be hilarious
Keep
because
a
then
journal and make a list of different
I,
topics that you're thinking of.
privately, I've been writing down stuff like privately behind the
Good.
scenes that only I see. But that, Tori, that would be like imagine you've got the TikTok star of the Scientology page, and then he becomes the TikTok star of the anti-science.
I know, it'd be so great. That's why I think you should. I really think you should. The timing is fantastic for it.
That'd be funny.
Everything that is going to happen to you is going to happen to you anyway. You know what I mean? It's not like if you speak
That's true.
out, you're going to get in trouble. I mean, I spoke out when nobody was speaking out. And
Mm,
but my view was this. I wasn't going to speak out. I had already called and said I'm not going to speak out. I'm not going to make videos. I'm not going to protest.
mm.
But then I thought on the way, after they did all the shit they did, I thought, if I could help one person, just one person like you, not get
Yeah,
suckered into it, it's worth all the fair game shit they put my way. It
mhm,
really is. Because I knew they really don't, most of their fair game is gaslighting kind of stuff.
yeah,
And it's just what it is, but it's kind of like if you're in the game, be in the game and help people. I mean, I one of my favorite things is these guys from the Jehovah's Witnesses wrote me and they said, Magoo, and I've always made kind of goofy videos because well, I don't have him here. I don't have Mr. Anonymous here. I don't know where he went. Here he is. This is from Andreas from
Oh,
Norway. See, he's Norwegian. But I always used to make these videos about Mr. Anonymous because in 2000, the guys that were speaking out and making videos would be very serious. And it's like, you have to find out about Scientology today. And I just thought, this is too heavy. People are going to be too. So I made mine kind of goofy with Mr. Anonymous, and I'm here, and I'd kind of get them into it. And then I'd get into whatever my subject was. So
yeah.
these kids from Jehovah's Witnesses wrote me and they said, Magoo, we have been making fun of you and laughing for weeks. We love your videos. But all of a sudden, one of us said, you know what? Actually, we do the exact same things that Scientology does. And they all woke up and left the Jehovah's Witnesses and wrote
Wow.
me and said, we can't thank you enough because I was like a starter thing for a lot of people where they were able to look because mine are kind of goofy to start out with,
Mhm,
or they
mhm.
used to be. I don't know if they are still, but with the live
Yeah,
stream thing, but they used to be. This was when I was just making my own videos. I'd start them out kind of goofy because it kept it lighter than these really heavy guys who are like, I just thought it was too much.
yeah, not my thing. No, not
Yeah,
definitely. Even like with the super serious guys that bark orders and are like, like for example, like Tommy Davis and his
right.
style of when he was spokesman, I was just like, yeah, there's better ways you can speak to people, like like you could be like a human being with another human being and not just like it's just uncomfortable to listen to,
I
not
know.
answering every question and being really not smiling, not laughing, not being normal, not being social. It's just, but I mean, anyway, they're probably
Isn't
drilled
it
on.
ironic though that I know for me, I got in Scientology to help people. That was my interest,
Yeah,
right? And then I've helped thousands of people since I got out. I helped a little bit when I was in, but not much. But
right.
since I've been out, in probably I know for you, you've already helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people by making just these interviews.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
no,
people in may have already left and not even told you, but
yeah, true. That's true.
just realize it's very important, everything you're doing. Okay,
Yeah.
now let me just make sure we get all these. Okay, this is from Silver Larson. Amir is such a great communicator. He should start his own channel. I think so too. I really do. You're
Yeah.
really good at what you do.
Ah, thank you. Shout
All
out to
right.
her.
Now, me and Taz.
Me and
Okay.
Tab 5.
And it says,
Love.
Amir, do you know what you want to do once you've been out for a while?
You know what? So I'm gonna call this guy Taz. I love his dog. That's really cool. I love that. So imagine just okay from my perspective, you're 21 years old and you've just left something, you've just left this cult after 3 years, and being in this bubble, and you're working every day from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. for 3 years or for 2 years, let's say 2 years. Okay, but you're ultimately you leave at 21. You've got so much fucking shit you can do. I mean, I've been traveling. I was traveling today. I went
Right.
to England. Um, I was playing. I'm playing football every Friday. I've been going out. I've went to the movies. I've caught up on all the films that I've missed. I met
Oh,
up with
so good.
Alex today. You kind of just getting your life back in order, or just
Good.
you're 21. Like you're discovering shit. You're meeting people. You're going out. You're doing stuff. I'm like a massive movie person, so I would probably do stuff, but I'd probably like pursue that or go down that way. But there's so much stuff on my bucket list that I want to do and achieve at 20. But now and
Right.
beyond, there's a lot. There's a lot you can do for sure.
Good for you. Well, it's exciting. It's going to be fun to watch because you're like an onion where, it's just going to peel open and be like better and better and better. Okay,
I
now
love.
this is from Style Audit 1A. Amir, did they not put a net nanny? No, I don't think they've used the net nanny in years, just so you know. But she's asking you, did they put it on your device?
No, not at all. Not at all. They
No.
never asked for my phone or. I mean, there was one time they asked to see my emails because I gave them the impression that I disconnected from everybody. But no, they I wouldn't let anyone touch my phone at all. They don't do that.
Yeah, I don't think
Thankfully.
they used the net nanny because we exposed it early on.
Right.
And you know what it is, right?
Like it's a tracking thing that goes from your phone?
What happened was David Miscavige had a big event and he said the internet is coming about and we have to get on it. It was
Mhm.
right before 2000.
Right.
So he said, we have computers around the room. We want everyone to sit down and tell your story, write out your story. So we
Right.
put out our story and then they put on these hyperlinks. Now, at the time, we didn't know what a hyperlink was.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
of course, it was Way to Happiness, Narconon, Applied Scholar, it was all their links, right?
Right.
And then they gave you a disk and said, here, Amir, go put this on your computer.
Yeah.
And you're like, I remember saying to him, why would I put this on my computer? And they
Yeah.
said, well, think about it. Don't you think your story is important? And of course, each person, your story is important, right?
Yeah.
And they go, if you could help someone with your story, that's what it's for. Because
Mhm.
we're going to put it on the internet and then people will come ask you questions. Not one person ever talked to me. I realized they had it all. All it was a net nanny where it just blocked any negative stuff they didn't want you to see, which
Wow.
is actually the facts of Scientology, which
Right.
you can
Right.
now see. Do you see what I mean? Because it's all over the internet. But
Yeah.
back then, there was nothing on the internet, and they weren't even really on the internet. But
Mhm.
we started putting our little stories on. We thought on the internet. They never went up there. No one ever called me, and it just blocked all the stuff. The only reason I could go on there in 1999 or 2000 was because my auditor had asked me to open those accounts. And so
Mhm.
he said, in order to do this, I have to take something off your computer. And I just bought it. I
Mhm.
said, what would you have to take off my computer? So he had to tell me about the net nanny,
Mhm.
of course, explaining it in a Scientology way, which is this will keep you safe from any evil people writing all these lies and phony things that'll upset you. So it was like, okay, so, but that way I was able to get on the internet. That was it. So, but
Right.
they stopped doing it, I'm sure, because it everybody exposed them.
Yeah. No. No. That's no longer. I know that the Sea Org guys get given special Sea Org phones. And obviously they're not allowed to go on that stuff, but I don't think there's anything inputted into the device to block anything. But you reminded me of Ron Miscavige and how David gave his dad a Kindle, and then Ron was just able to somehow access the internet on the Kindle and then fucking discovered everything after that. Like he just
Oh,
unlocked the box, and then after Ron Senior, Ron Miscavige Senior, was reading all this stuff, he was like, Becky, we need to get out of here. And then they were planning their escape. But
wow.
yeah, that's what
Wow.
happened. Give people access to the internet.
Wow. So exciting. All right, now this is from 49ers for Life. A free thinker like Amir was never going to last in Scientology.
That's so true.
True,
That's so true.
true.
Is
Although
49ers.
I was a free speaker, free speech, what did he say? A free
Uh,
thinker. I was
free
a
think.
free thinker, but
Yeah.
I got in early enough before the internet. See, I got in 1969 before you were even a thought in your parents' mind. And and there was no internet. So the choices were stay in Scientology or be declared suppressor. That was it. You couldn't, there was nothing else. There was no
Yeah.
info. The information was with the SPs. And
Yeah.
if you wanted to get it, you had to go to their house. And once you went to their house, somebody would write you up, and then you'd either disconnect from them or get declared.
Right.
So it was a different time.
Right.
They
Right.
really had more control back then. They've really lost control now. I mean,
Thankfully.
you were in charge of TikTok, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I had to go on settings on TikTok and filter keywords so that nobody could comment. Shelley Miscavige, David Miscavige, Xenu, all of
Yeah.
that stuff. I had to
Right.
filter words, and so did the ED.
Now, how would that be in your head, though, if they say you have to block that? What did you think then?
Oh, um, that's a good question. I mean, I was just personally fascinated by the whole thing, and I knew a lot of these words. Well, I was secretly doing my research behind the scenes, but I make the excuse. I know it's fucking hilarious, but I could make the excuse that since I was in Division 6, if someone asked me about Shelley, or if someone asked me about Xenu, or if someone
Okay.
asked me about stuff, I could just say, some guy brought it up to me on the street. That's how I heard of it. So I
I
didn't
got.
say researching it. So I had
Oh,
these.
yeah, right. That's a good point because there's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah, exactly. I could just say someone told me about it. So I had
Yeah,
my ways.
good for you. All right. Okay, so now here's another one from 49ers for Life. What did Amir's family think when he joined Scientology?
Oh, wow. 49ers is very active in this chat. I didn't, honestly, the simple answer to that is not much because I didn't really tell them. I mean, during this time, you're like 19, 20, 21. Your sisters are way too young, you know, and they're going to school, having a good time, going to gymnastics. I see my father sometimes, and then my mother just kind of lets me be me and lets me do my thing. And you're a teenager, and then an adult, and then a young adult, and you're finding your feet, discovering yourself, getting into stuff, seeking knowledge, doing all this stuff. So it was just more of a thing of like, listen, if you need me, I'm here, but you're going to find your feet and discover yourself and enjoy the greatest years of your life. So I didn't really, honestly, I didn't bring it much. And what it became was, like you kind of get fucking sick of it. When you're working in Scientology every single day, and day and foundation goes out the window, and you're doing day and foundation, and you
Right.
come home, like a safe space where you can spend time with family and do stuff that you like to do. So it never got brought up in the household, to be completely honest with you.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So, in your sisters, you've educated them about mind control and Scientology and not getting into it.
No, I haven't told them anything. They're like 8 and 9 years old, so I haven't spoken to them at all.
I'm really big on like Wikipedia is now because they made a DVD and they invited me because I pointed out to them that Scientology was covertly editing it. So I
Hmm.
went to their premiere of it and they announced that this has gone into almost every college how to use Wikipedia,
Right.
high school, and then they said to me, Tori, we're honestly going into grade schools at this point because so
Wow.
many kids have access to the internet.
Right.
So it wouldn't hurt you to, just plant a few seeds. Like
Right.
if you ever get interested in it, ask me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna
Ask,
be very
ask
exciting
you.
when they grow up to find out what their brother's done. It's gonna be fascinating as well. But yeah, yeah, for sure, you're right.
Yeah. I just want, because I know Scientology and one of their ways of getting to each of us is
Mm.
our family. If they can't get to you,
True. Absolutely.
they'll go to the kids. And that's all you need.
Right.
So, so
Right.
anyway, can't hurt. Um,
Um,
okay, this one is from
Same
I
guy
got
as the 49ers. He's so active.
Huh?
49ers is so active. I love this. He's so active in the chat.
Yeah, I know. He's really cool. I thought I saw a video with someone protesting and Amir was out with his Dianetic shirt on.
Oh, I have no idea. I've
That
absolutely
might have been.
never
You should
worn
see if you
it.
can find it and send it to Amir. If you can, 49ers
Yeah,
for life.
please. I mean, I've worn the Dynetics T-shirt maybe twice in my entire life. I used to wear the hoodie all the time, like because it's a new hoodie, and then I wore it on Alex's channel. But I don't know. I don't. Maybe it was during a bookathon or something. If you can find it, please send it to me. But I don't
Yeah,
know.
if you find it, 49ers for life, send it to Amir. That would be really fun.
Yeah.
Okay, now here's the next one from Lapisha. Wow, Amir showing these photos is such a moving thing to do. What level of kindness and compassion is going to take far in life? Rooting for your success. Which are the photographs that she's talking about, though? Are there photographs that I missed?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I can't remember if I sent it privately or if I sent photographs publicly, or because Tony also did an article on me very very recently, and there was some photos there.
Oh, where
Um,
Tony Ortega interviewed you?
Tony, yeah, he. I think Alex had written an article, and then Tony put it on his Substack not too long ago, which is very kind of
Okay.
him.
Okay,
Uh,
good. Good. I
yeah.
just want to make sure so everybody sees them. All right. Now here's another one. Okay.
Oh, this
Okay,
is
that's the one from the photos. Okay, good. This one's from Lapisha. That's great to hear that Tori is making a difference.
Ooh.
I've been working on it, that's for sure. 25 years. All right. Now let's see. Me and Taz. All right. This ex Scientology community is way bigger than Scientology. I know that's the thing that we are way outnumbering them at this point. You know, it's unbelievable that they're still even going, really.
Do you know what I was told, Tori? When I was when they told me to disconnect from Alex, it's the policy is handle or disconnect, and they said there's no way in hell you have a chance of handling him, so you have to disconnect from him, and they said that you guys are part of the evil 2.5%, and they're very PR-y in Scientology. They're very very fucking PR-y. So they said, you've seen them, Amir, protesting at the IS event. There's like 6 of them. Surely, if they were a big group, they could muster up at least 7 people. But, compared to the 3,000 people at the IS event, like they bark the loudest, but there's none of them. So that's what they're telling me. So Lord knows what they're telling other people. But they try to sound like, you guys, there's none of you, there's only 3 protesters. That's how they make it sound.
Right.
That's their PR strategy with that.
Thank you. Good. Good. All right. Now, this is another one. This is Stay Puff Marshmallow Man.
Oh, Marshmallow from Ghostbusters. Yeah.
All right. So, question, Amir, are you familiar with Aaron Cairo? I am San Francisco Day and Foundation of Braille
Skateboard
Skateboarding with the
and
YouTube channel.
a
I think he
5 point.
came down and interviewed me. He did. He interviewed me and Will and Jessica and Aaron. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's an
I know
amazing
Aaron.
guy.
I worked with Aaron. I worked with. I mean, I'm in a. I was part of a group chat called Scientology Warriors, where I was collaborating with all the different TikTok pages, and I made a video for the 75th anniversary of Dynetics where we throw the books to each other, and I put myself last. But I'm working with San Francisco. And I have Aaron's number, and I was in a group chat with him, working with him with the social media stuff, and yeah, I mean, like San Francisco are like one of the top orgs in the entire planet in regards to, if you want to look at the birthday game, and you want to look at the rankings and points and whatnot. I think they're number one in the world. But he would get up, and Dave Miscavige would be speaking, and then he would come on stage. Aaron, he's flag trained, so he did the OEC FEBC training. But yeah, I know Aaron. I know Aaron for sure. Yeah.
Okay, and he's got 5.7 million followers and the
Yeah.
social media disaster.
I know he does. He's got a big following. He advises the like obviously I'll show all this stuff later on when the time is right. But he advises these TikTok pages. He advises them on how to deal with N theta and bad stuff and whatnot. So he's very much an advisor to all these social media accounts, Aaron.
Yeah, he got on it quick. He went up to CST and jumped in there. It's in his
Oh,
video, the one that he
wow.
did where he interviewed me and Jenna and Will. But he part of it is he went up to CST and jumped over the two fences and got in there to looking for Shelly. And then somebody came after him and he goes, I'm running for my life. And he ran out. But it's a good video to see.
Oh, wow.
Okay, One Love asks you, I like the quote from Tori, and also jump and the net will appear. That's right. It's leap and the net will appear. I have a little phrase on that I have it in writing, but it was really that's what was in my head when I woke up was that I felt like I was on 1,000-foot mountain, and way at the bottom was a little thing that said you might make it if you leap. But
Wow.
it was sort of like I was so scared, and I just thought they wanted to know who I was, and I didn't know if they were OSA or really ex-Scientologists. But I finally figured you have to make the leap, and I made the leap, and they were definitely ex-Scientologists. It was really great.
Well done. Phenomenal.
But
It's
I
not an easy.
found that I have that sign, leap and the net will appear.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Fantastic.
Okay. So now here's One Love says again, Amir is an
Oh,
amazing human. I'm glad Tori is doing this live. Yeah, me too. I know he's
Tori,
really a great guy.
people were so excited. Like I've seen some of the comments and some people like responding to this. They were so excited that I was coming on your channel. They were
Oh yeah.
like, "Oh my god, I watched this and I can't wait for the Tory one." I was like, "Oh no, no, I'm even more excited."
Well, we've had a good time, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely,
I
100%.
know. Every time I've talked to you, I'm just so proud of you. I really am. All right,
Thank you.
Tori's and Amir's new YouTube channel together, then and now, with Tori and Amir. Wow, that might be cool. That might be a good idea.
Tori,
Wow, that would be
anything you want to do, I'm in. Okay, I'm in.
then and now. Wow, it would be so interesting. The unfortunate thing for Scientology is they really haven't changed that much. You know what I mean? What I mean? It's like you think, 1969 is when I got in. I
Yeah,
escaped out in 2000.
yeah,
That's 50, I was 30 years in. But you were in 3 years, but both of us have very similar experiences and knowledge about, they really haven't expanded their knowledge. That's because Hubbard, I don't know if you know this or not, but he pretty much stole everything. He didn't write that stuff.
yeah. That's right. I knew that. I knew more of that when I left, and then people were like, "Oh yeah, MUs and misunderstood words and clearing your words. That was all plagiarized." And I was like, "Wow." I mean, I can believe it, but I was like, "Wow, I didn't know that much was plagiarized. Bloody hell."
Yeah, my friend and his partner, who's now passed away, the partner, but they spent 10 years researching every single piece of technology and management and tech, and everything had an earlier beginning and an earlier author.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
amazing. I've seen it in writing. It's like, wow, it's really spooky. It is when you think how much we did. Now, this is Moose on the Loose again. You're a rock star and very important. So happy you're out of the cult now and can be free and happy. I think we had that already though. So maybe we're reviewing these. Let's see. Tori and Amir's new YouTube site together. Yeah, we read that. All right,
So,
let's see.
tech genius.
This one I don't think we read. Look at this.
Uh,
Cross generations, cultures, genders. This is adorable. They should team up. The Tori and Amir show.
it's because
Reveal Scientology truths.
the chemistry is there. That's why. It's just a
I know.
fantastic. Exactly. That's what it is.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, we both have great admiration for each other, and
Absolutely.
we respect each other, and I'm just so proud of you. I really am. I feel like, your mom. It's like if she knew all the stuff you did, which I understand you don't want to get into with her, but I know if she knew it, she'd be like, Amir, right on. It's just so great. It
I love
really
it.
is. And your grandparents, they both would. All right, so this is from Moose on the Loose. You're a rock star and very
I think
important
it's
and
the same
happy.
thing.
Okay. He read that again. All right. Okay. Imagine having to check if your church has made a hate site on you.
So
Truth
true.
authorities.
So true.
Good point.
So
Good
true.
point. Who is that? Can you read who that is?
Affila 8. I think I said it right.
Ophelia. Okay. All right.
Affila.
And then
Yes. Right.
me and Taz, I just subbed to Amir. Good. I'm subbed. All right.
That,
Number 80.
that's
All right.
crazy. I used to
Yeah.
make YouTube videos just to make people laugh when I was 12 years old, and I had 17 subscribers. I deleted all the videos. I haven't made anything for like 10 years since 2016. And now suddenly I'm like at 80 subscribers. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
What is the name of your site?
Off my YouTube channel, I think it's just my name, Amiri
Okay.
Sally.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. All right. And then I'll sub for you after that if I haven't already. Did I already sub or not?
I
No.
mean, it's.
I don't think I didn't know you had a channel. I'll go with you, Amir, down that street. All right.
Oh
There you
God.
go. I think most of us would. Subbed can already go live. All right. So you can already go live. Does
Oh
it
wow.
matter to you? Not to me. Hi, Bugs. Thank you for your $10. I appreciate it. He's a fun guy. All right. Now this is
This community helped open my eyes about my ex who's a public. Wow. Fantastic. I love that. I love that. If we can help open more people's eyes or just continue to bring the truth and just educate people, just because a lot of people don't really know what it is or have heard of it or have, considering going in or, just look after yourself and just keep watching channels like Tori's, keep watching Alex, keep watching Karen, keep watching all of these, Chris Shelley, all of these phenomenal guys, and just stay educated on it. But I love that this community has helped you, Amy. That's phenomenal. Fantastic.
thank you. Thank you so much. It means a lot. It really does.
Yeah.
And this is a key thing for you. I'm trying to educate everybody because with
Yeah.
this live stream thing, what happened is Leah and Mike did that 2-year thing where what is a Scientologist?
Yeah.
And, they interviewed a lot of kids that were raised in Scientology. So people now think everybody in Scientology is a Sea Org member. And
Right.
I know this because they've asked me questions. Have you been on the RPF and this and that? And I'm like, no, 30% are Sea Org, 70% are public. So it might be different. It might be 30% are Sea Org. I don't know how many percent are staff, and then the rest are public. But it's definitely. Do you know what the divisions of that are?
I don't. I can tell you that in Scotland there are 4 or 5 Sea Org members, and there's probably 25 staff. Even that number is very questionable. But I mean, like there is.
Right.
I'll reveal all the numbers after, but there is like no Sea Org at all. It's dead.
I know. I think that's true. They're really having a hard time with it. And what would they do? They don't deliver auditing anymore. Did they deliver auditing in Scotland? That's a question.
Oh, sorry, Tori, you cut out.
Oh, did they deliver? I said they don't deliver auditing here really anymore. Do they deliver it there in Scotland?
In Scotland, to public, yeah, and to staff, they'll fool you on it, like me, where I mean, thankfully, I can say thankfully, thank God now, but I begged to do my bridge, and I was like, I don't really want to be an
Oh
auditor,
no,
but
thank God you didn't.
thank God I did. But I begged, and they were like, yeah, of course, join staff, and we'll get you up, and we'll get you audited. But then you know you got to get through this tip, and you got to get through your program and whatnot. So they give you the illusion that that will happen, but I mean, unless you're a public and you pay thousands of pounds, then you're not going to go
Right,
up the bridge.
right. All right, good. Okay, so this one is from Hagabasher.
Scotland the Brave.
Great Scott.
Oh, Haggett.
Scotland the Brave.
I love this guy. Yeah.
We're Amir. That's so great. Thank you. All right. And this one is from me and Taz. 5. All right. Thanks, Amir. I'm an old lady. Taz is a Jack Russell Terrier. That is, there you go. There you
Love,
go.
love that.
Okay. And this one's from, is it Mrs. Withholdy? Your video, oh, I don't know what happened to it.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there it is. Your video is so heartwarming. Thank you for you both. There. Thank you both for what you're doing. You are welcome, Mrs. Withholdy. And here's Kelly. Amir, have you watched any of the old footage on Xenu TV, Mark Bunker's channel?
Yeah, absolutely. I love his channel so much. I've went through his old videos that came out 6 years ago. You know, old maybe like guys being interviewed from the past. Yeah, big fan for sure.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his too. And he always saves my life. Like today, we wouldn't have been on if it wasn't for Bunker. All
Yeah.
right. A voice down under, comment for Amir. She's laughing. My TikTok comment still got through. Amir.
Oh
I don't.
yeah,
What
yeah.
was your TikTok comment?
That's right. So basically, Tori, see when these orcs are setting up their TikTok pages and they're putting out videos, people can comment on the videos. So when I was there and I'm talking about Dianetics or whatnot, and I'm, you know, putting out all these videos on TikTok, T, who I actually just did a video with not too long ago, she's got a great channel, A Voice Down Under. She would comment on the different videos, and that got to me, where she would leave a paragraph saying, "Listen, Amir, you know, I did the stress test with you, and you're, you know, so lovely to speak to, and I know you've got the best of intentions," but she would just leave the most heartwarming comments, and there was no words like Xenu going around, so the comment would just come straight through into the mainstream,
Wow.
because it's not going to get blocked or anything. There was no keywords in there that would be getting blocked. But the point is, if you leave comments on these pages, there's a chance that someone might see it. You know, someone running the account or someone doing the videos, whether it's me or someone else. But when you leave these really lovely messages, people will see it. You know, so she's saying Malcolm fucked up. Malcolm is the ED in Scotland, and yes,
Oh,
he has fucked up for sure.
wow. Cool. Well, good for her. All right. Now, this is from Aloha JB808. 49ers was the one who brought Amir to my attention by
Oh
asking questions about him. Cool.
wow, Shout out to him. Wow.
Well, thank you both.
Yeah.
All right. And this one's from 49ers for Life. I guess that wasn't Amir I saw.
I don't know, man. I don't.
Oh, with the Dianetic T-shirt.
Was it even in Scotland? Like, I would love to know if that was in Scotland or somewhere else. But I have no idea who you saw.
Well, he's here now. That's what counts. That's why Tori's interviews are
Or the bomb.
The bomb. Very interactive with the chat. Yeah.
There you go, Tori.
I love people. I really do. And, people like you are just amazing. I mean, I'm so proud of you. I really am. And you have no idea how much, you're helping people, like think broad,
Yeah.
people that may never say anything to you, but they're like, I had, if you see my little pros, I just sit in a chair underneath the big Scientology sign. And
yeah.
I talked to the neighbors, and that started because a couple of years ago, they had these big 1,000-pound flower pots that they put there so we couldn't protest there.
Mm-hmm.
And so a guy named, I think his name's Amir, and he's an engineer. And or maybe it is, you're Amir, right?
I'm Amir, yes.
I know you're Amir, but I mean, I think he's Henry. That's it, Henry.
Oh, Emery. Okay,
They're both unusual names, but you're Amir. He's Henry, but he came around and he said these are 1,000 pounds each. They're ruining the sidewalk, and the lady named Style LA, no wait, Audit LA, is in a wheelchair, and she came around trying to help us, and she couldn't get down the sidewalk because they were breaking up the sidewalk. So that's why Drew and I started sitting there just to talk to the neighbors and say, what do you think? And we were going to start a whole protest thing on that. But she started going down to City Hall and talking, or City Council, and talking to them about it. And Scientology got rid of all the planters. I mean, it was really very effective. Very effective.
Fantastic.
I know. But there was something else I was going to tell you, and then I forgot it again.
You'll remember.
Huh? I'll remember. Let's see. That's why Tori's interviews are very interactive. True, they are. I think I was saying I love to talk to people. Anyway, that happened with her where, I was going to tell you, and I remembered it.
Yeah.
We're sitting in front of those signs, and I would just talk to the neighbors. And if they looked like they were people like you that were walking by, and they look up at the sign, I say like this, don't get in there. And they turn around and look at me, and I go, I was in it for 30 years. I'm speaking from experience. And 4 different guys, different times, came over and talked to me. And I told them what I said, and I'm not going to tell Scientology because they'll use it against me, or they'll use it to rope people in. But all 4 of them came back to me later and said, we can't thank you enough. We were on our way to join the Sea Org. And that's why I always say, I use these little cards. This is what I give out, because we used to do flyers and they'd always end up on the street because nobody wants to carry flyers. But business cards, people carry all the time. So I made mine with, it's got Xenu and, different websites, my YouTube site, Mark Bunker's site. Anyway, you can put whatever you want on it. But the point is, I hand them out. If I see a young person, I say, just so you know, Scientology's after you. And they go, really? Or I go, your life is in danger. And they go, really? And I go, yeah, you're 15 minutes away from Scientology. And they go, oh my God. I mean, so many people have said this to me because they've heard of it. They know about it, but they don't know if they can believe what they've heard, that's negative. You know what I mean? Because Tom Cruise is in it, right?
Sure.
So it must be okay.
For sure.
So anyway, we have a talk, but the cards are very effective. They're very, very effective. And I always say, put it away right away in your wallet, because if your boss is a Scientologist, they might fire you if they see you have that card. Because mine has Xenu on it, Xenu.net.
Yeah. That's fun. Do you know what? That's it. That's another thing that's absolutely unbelievable. When you're involved in it, and your girlfriend's a Scientologist, and your income sources are from Scientologists. You've managed to work with them. You're wealthy. You can pay your bills. You can pay your rent. You work for Scientologists, or you have your own business where maybe Tom Cummings is your partner, or your partners with, just a Scientologist in general. And then you're like, listen, this isn't for me. I want to leave. And then maybe you start coming out and speaking the truth or something, and then your income sources are gone because these guys don't want to work with you or talk to you anymore. Your girlfriend breaks up with you because now it's like, you're suddenly speaking about all of this stuff, which is apparently in theta and bad somehow, just speaking about the truth in your experience and how you were made to do level 0 when you were 13 years old on the cans talking about sadism and stuff. So that's another thing. But that's what makes the community amazing. That's what makes the foundations amazing.
Yeah.
You can go to these guys and you can get support, you can get financial support, you can get career counseling, you can get your life back on track, you can get therapy, you can cry your eyes out to somebody and just get stuff off your chest confidentially, one to one with someone. You can get all of these friends, and if not more. You get so many different friends from where you live, from the States, from all around the world. You can talk to them anytime you want to. I mean, that's what makes that community so fucking incredible.
I
Um,
agree.
brings that sanity back. When you get away from that life and when you leave that life. So that's something
And
all the time.
you're like at the beginning of your life.
Yeah,
I'm like 78, right? So I've lived a long time. But for me, that was one of the things I loved about the internet because my mother-in-law went into a nursing home and I would go in there and people all the time were like just super lonely, talk to me, take me home, anything. And I thought this is one of the solutions for older people too, because the guy that ran the whole independent living place said, because she was in a wheelchair. So I said, can we just get a little button so she can press it and then go outside? And he said, Tori, part of the people that are here, we have 4 floors. First one's independent living, which your mother in law is in. Second one is nursing. Third one is pre Alzheimer's. And fourth one is Alzheimer's. So he said, if we have a button, the Alzheimer's people will just be out the door and we'll have to come chase them and find them. But
yeah,
it's so great. With the internet, people can my mother used to say this, it isn't getting old that's bad. It's losing your friends. And it's so true. But when you're on the internet, you can have friends like you. You're 20, I'm 78. You know what I mean? But we're good. I feel like we have a really wonderful rapport. And
yeah,
that's just
sure,
amazing. It's fantastic. So I
yeah,
think it's well worth it for people to invest some time building their own little community, whatever it might be around on the internet, so that they have friends long term. They stay in touch with the younger generations.
100%,
And it's
100.
fun to hear all the different things from people of different ages. All right, thank you, JB808. I really appreciate you. You're like an amazing person. Okay, here's Jojo the Enforcer. Love that Amir wears the Freedom T-shirt for the interviews. Yeah, that's cool. That is
Do you know
very
what?
cool.
I met Alex today, and Alex did a video with a girl who is phenomenal. And you're going to see her very soon, and you're going to see this tremendous video that they filmed today. And she says, Amir, you inspired me. And I was like, how did I inspire you? I'm intrigued. How the hell did I inspire you? And then she was like, she put on this t-shirt, and you'll see what it says in the video with Alex when it releases.
Wow.
So then I was like, wow, she was inspired by me, and then I'm now inspired by her. So I'm going to stick on this top when I do this with Tori today. But
Wow.
yeah, yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. It's an IS top, actually.
Beautiful. Really beautiful. Where'd you get it?
I got it gifted to me for raising money for the IS. They gave us T-shirts.
And now you are free. See,
Yeah,
it's such a difference from, it's such a trap, when you're in it, where they're giving you a freedom t-shirt, but you couldn't be farther from freedom when you're in it. It's
absolutely.
so I'm really, really happy you're free. All right. And I love that too. I love that you wear that. That's really a great idea. All right. Now, here's this from me and Taz. I think she meant the pictures Amir was sending to family members in
Right,
Scientology.
right.
Ah, and that's
Thank you.
on Alex's side or Tony's side?
I think Alex's side. I
Okay,
think so.
good.
Um,
I'll check. All right. And here's this from JB808.
that's right,
Tyler,
Tyler. Yes,
Tyler. That's who
that,
I was thinking of.
that's
Is
right.
the one who interviewed Tori. That's who that is. Did you see his video?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that went into
He
CST.
fed some CST and then was like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you. Thank you, JB808, for correcting that, because I kept thinking, I don't think it's the same guy. When you started telling the different things he did, I said, I don't think that's the same guy. But this guy's really big on YouTube too. He's got 5 million views in a month.
Tyler,
He's
yeah, Tyler makes some cool videos. He's done it with like with the mega church as well, with Kenneth Copeland. And he's done it with quite a few. I wouldn't be surprised if he does the LDS church next.
right. And he has really professional equipment. Like I
Yeah.
said, look, I don't do interviews in my house. So
Mhm.
you have to figure out where we're going to do it. So he rented a place and he had these huge lights,
Yeah.
right? Like I've
Yeah.
been with a lot of different interviews, even CNN and stuff like that. And they have pretty good lighting too. CNN does. But
Yeah.
most people just have regular lighting. But he had these big, huge lights, two of them,
Mhm.
and cool cameras. And it was
Yeah.
really fun doing the interview. I really enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
Super nice guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So now we've been on for 2 hours and 36 minutes. So as much as I could talk to you for all day long, I never get tired of you. But does anybody have any questions from? Oh, wait, here's one. Hang on. Thank you, though, JB808, for correcting that. Donna Davy. Okay, I love the conversations and hope Amir continues with whatever he wants to do. I wish him well for his future. I think it's bright days ahead. I have to go now, but take care, everyone. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming on. And
Thank you,
thank
Don.
you, Amir, for everything. I mean, every interview you do, I listen to, and I'm like, spot on.
I
And
see you in the comments all the time, and you obviously we message each other as well, and I see you there. But yeah, anytime. I mean, listen, I mean, I sat down with Alex today, and he was like, Amir, people have reached out to me personally, just saying how much you've helped them speak out or start the leaving process, and I'm just like, great, and that's all I want. All I want is for people to look after themselves,
yeah,
and listen, it's not really my business, but I think when a 13-year-old girl is indoctrinated and stuck on the bridge and says, Mum, I want to be a Sea Org member, that's my dream. It's like
yeah.
there's so much potential.
Did you
And
hear that?
yeah, oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. That saw the uniform and stuff. And
You've
yeah,
got
there's
to get on TikTok. I'm telling you, you really do. You've got to get on TikTok if for no other reason than to let younger people know this is not a good thing. And I'm
yeah.
speaking from someone who was in it, and
Mm,
I'm 20 and I'm out. And if
mm,
and I always tell people, because they go, oh no, I would never get in it. And I go, I'm telling you something. They're very good at what they do. And the best thing they do is rope people into the trap. The hardest thing is getting out. And I always use the Hotel California. Have you ever heard that song?
oh, for
You can
sure.
check in, but you can't check out. And I go, that's Scientology. You can check in, but man, checking out is very hard. So you would be very important. I really think you should really think about it. I know Alex has said take some time and blah, blah, blah. And, you could take some time, but just think about it. They're taking that time getting these kids into the Sea Org. It's going to take them forever to get out.
Yeah, it's fucking.
So to me, it's like, okay, even if you don't have to spend your whole life with it. You know what I mean? You can go on with your life, but
Yeah,
make a few videos here and there to the young people, just saying, this isn't what you think it is. I thought it was, it isn't. Even if you did that and just put it up there and let it be, that would be good enough.
just immortalize it on social media.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because then to me, it's like I felt like I'm talking to them,
yeah.
and I was, and that's why it went viral, because it was just like boom, and mine was about young people and people who speak two languages. That was it. Because both of those are very important still to this day. As I didn't even know that they were going after 13-year-olds.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, because I was HAS and I was over HCO and I was over recruitment. Plus, I observed that there is, they're trying to. The thing is, their strategic planning is they're trying to go ideal this year, and so anything you do, any protest you do, or shining PR or shining light on them at this moment fucks up everything for them and their plans. And so they're going all out on recruitment. And I would watch this and I would see there'd be a 40, they're recruiting people not just in Scotland. Flag have now created a unit called Ideal Org Recruitment. They're recruiting for Ideal Orgs, just a little unit in Flag where people are recruiting for Ideal Orgs to try and man up orgs to go ideal. And then you've got them recruiting at St. Hill. And I know that they're also checking people's lineage to see if they have family in the UK, to see if they could even make the move to go on staff there. And then you've got minors, kids, who they're very, very cautious about. And I'm not going to talk too much about this at this moment in time, but they go after a lot of kids. And there's people that I know that were like, I mean, I get shit like this. Amir, this lady, she's asked me to join staff, but I'm not going to join staff, but I'm joining the Sea Org, and I don't want to join staff because I'm going to join the Sea Org instead. And they'd be fucking battling it out. No, 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 don't join the Sea Org, join staff. No, 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 don't join staff, join the Sea Org. And it's like this tug of war that kind of goes on. But listen, their numbers are horrendously bad that they have to go after minors,
Oh,
and they
yeah.
and families are having a lot of kids, and then when the kids grow up, they're encouraged to join staff with their mum and dad and whatnot. And that's just part of the recruitment strategy to man up these orgs. And yeah, it's definitely something I'm doing a lot of stuff on behind the scenes. But all will be revealed. All will be revealed.
Good. Now,
Yeah,
question to you as far as TikTok. They have that new confidential thing where you have to agree to their terms of services.
yeah.
Have you agreed to that?
I think so. Like when you download the app and you have to agree to all the cookies and all the shit. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good. I haven't yet, but I'm going to. I talked to a few key people and they said they've all agreed to it,
Right, right.
because it's like you don't have access to it if you don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So fuck it.
Fuck it.
And Bunker and I talked about it, and we said, truthfully, on any of these sites, they could say that they can use your videos, and
Mhm.
they know most of us don't have enough money to sue them, because
Yeah.
they have millions and billions.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
kind of like a legal thing that they're doing, but it's already that's the way it is. It's
Yeah.
like take it or leave it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you look at the good you're doing, it way outweighs any negative way. Wait,
Just the
oh, there's two more comments. Wait, hang on. No, I think we already did both of them. They're from Moose on the Loose and Donna, and she loved the conversation. Everybody loves you, Amir. That's just the way it is. You're just a love guy, and you have to know that. So thank you for being here. Thank you for answering everybody's questions and just
Yeah,
sharing your life with us.
yeah. Anytime, absolutely. It's just getting the truth out there. That's all it is, and it's getting rid of the smoke and mirrors and all the tricks that they have. And it's just, listen, guys, this is what happens when you go in, when you walk in. This is what their plan is. This is their plan for 2 years' time.
Right.
I'm going to do a video with another guy where I'm going to discuss more of this stuff and more of their future planning, and that's going to be a fucking hell of a video. So there's several stuff coming up, several, and I'm working really really hard behind the scenes
Wow.
on several just to get just the truth out there, basically. But I'm very easy to get in touch with if you ever have any questions or need anything. Tori is very easy to get in touch with, and on top of that, you've also got several foundations, including the Aftermath Foundation, who are phenomenal at support and helping people with anything you might need or running into at all. So those guys are definitely worth going to for sure.
Well, as Bert, it looks like Bernia Life. Great to
Bernie,
see
I
Amir again. I know it's you could be on every day and we'd be happy to see you.
think you'd get sick of me pretty quickly.
Pardon me?
I think you'd get tired of me very quickly.
No, no, you'd be surprised. We won't. We won't. So just get used to it. All right. Well, is there anything you'd like to say before we end?
Um, Honestly, just it's a hard life being a Sea Org member and a staff member, and for me, that's when my bubble burst, and when I got introduced to the everyday pressure and my anxiety went through the roof and whatnot. But everyone means well, and everyone thinks that they're doing the right thing. And I think at the same time, everyone needs a shoulder to cry on, and everyone needs someone to talk to about their life and what they're going through, even if it's private or confidential. And I think you're going through a lot of shit, and I think you should talk to these guys. I think that's what you should do, even if it's privately, even if you have questions, and just I don't know how much you love philosophy or Socrates or whatever, but just ask questions. Am I really
Good.
changing the world? Is this really helping me? Are we really clearing the planet? Is this building really full? Why are we, Scientology media productions are coming over for a shoot, but then we have to like fake everything and fill this up with
I know.
staff wearing hats and jacket. Like, is this really,
I,
you know,
you know,
what
I
it is?
know that from back in the, I think, 80s in
Yeah,
Scientology at Celebrity Center. Maybe it
yeah,
was the 90s, but they had these flag, the flag guys were coming.
yeah,
And, they would go through and white glove the whole place and sweep, and everything was like all beautiful. And you
yeah.
think this is so phony. It's like, just because the flank guys are coming in, now everything goes like it's got to be perfect.
Yeah, they still do it. They still do it. So just ask questions to yourself, and you've got your human rights. You have the freedom of speech, despite it being a high crime and suppressive act to report illegal activity that they're doing to law enforcement. Like fuck that, and that's
Yeah,
insane. It contradicts each other. The way to happiness says respect the law of the land, and then the
right.
ethics book says don't report any illegal activity that Scientology or Scientologists are doing to law enforcement. Otherwise, it's a high crime and a suppressive act. So you read the stuff, just ask questions. It contradicts each other completely, and just if you ever need anyone to talk to, the route that I went down was I talked to these guys behind
Good,
the scenes and then publicly, and now I'm documenting, and I will further document what happened to me. But
good.
just talk to these guys. That's my recommendation. Is just talk. I'm a big freedom of speech guy.
I'm with you on it. I'm with you. I'm so proud of you for doing that.
For,
And anybody can do it. That's why I say the way out is the nearest door.
yeah,
It's like you just have to open it, walk out. That's it. You're done. If
Tori,
you're in
that's
LA, call me. I'll come pick you up. I will. That's it.
Tori, that's what I did. After day one of hard manual labor, I said, I'm fucking done. Oh my God, 6 hours after lifting weights and going up the spiral stairs and down and working in the renovations of the Life Improvement Center, I got a bag, like a bag that you would get from a store, like a grocery bag. There's a store in the UK called Sainsbury's. So I just got a Sainsbury's bag, okay? Went up to my office, put my commendations, put my certs, my certificates, put my jacket, my suit, went to my drawers, put all my belongings, um,
Wow.
full bag, waited till it was dinner time, went to the emergency exit, went out the emergency exit so that the ED and the CR guys didn't see me leave reception, crossed the roads, jumped on the first bus that went to my house, phoned Alex and said, let's do an interview. That was how I left. So yes, the nearest store, absolutely. Tori, what you were saying, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Well, good job for taking it. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
You opened the door, walked out, and you are free. And there's your t-shirt to say it.
There we go.
All right. Well, we'll do another one with you because we're not done with you. But for now, thank you so much, Amir. And have a wonderful, what are we at we're in the
Well,
beginning of the week. So have a wonderful week.
that's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You too.
And if you need anything, remember I told you, call me anytime
I
after
will.
11.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. You're welcome, Kelly. And thank you, Kelly, for being the moderator. You've been fantastic. And JB808 for our thumbnail, whatever he figures that out to be. He creates them. He's kind of a wild guy, but he's really good. Thank you
Love.
and good night, everyone. Thank you, June. Thank you. Thank you guys for coming on. And JB808 for thank you. And who was the other person that asked so many questions?
Oh, 49ers asked a lot of questions. He was very active.
Yeah, 49ers for life. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
He's really cool. He's
That's
really
awesome.
cool. Everybody on here is cool, but I love the people that ask questions. It really helps. It really does.
Yeah, I love
All
it as
right,
well.
so stay in touch. Let me
Sorry.
know if you do the future things because I want to know what they are and I don't want to miss it.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Amir. Thank you for coming on so much.
Thank you for having me, Tori. Take care.
You are welcome. Take care. All right. We're going to hit end stream. Ciao.